Recording in progress.
All right, let's call court back into order. As you know, court began yesterday morning at 9 a.m. and we recessed for the night and started back up today. And so we'll just move forward with the agenda. And so I'll ask Francis to lead us to the next item.
Very good, thank you. So for today, I passed out the one sheet schedule. The top has the individuals, the elected officials that will actually be with us here today, either in person or by Zoom. And then as we just need to fill time, and then after that, that list below, I know that looks very lengthy, but we have talked through most of those. We just need to go back to those, touch on them, maybe give you some adjustments that have been made. So my goal is today to check all of these off, and I think that will put us in a good place moving into tomorrow. And then we can wrap up big picture personnel tomorrow and then go into our big picture discussion back again.
Okay.
Relating it to the tax rate. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our district attorney's office. So we have Josh Teetons and his staff.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello. And if you have anything you want to share first, but I will walk them through your request.
You start.
Okay.
You start.
So the district attorney is Department 0210 in general fund. And so Haley has pulled up their operating lines, and so we will walk through the increases, and if you just want to give them a little background as to the reason for those. So we'll just start there with furniture and equipment.
Furniture and equipment, I don't believe there was a major significant increase, but the reason for the increase at all was because of Tyler Tech. We have hopes and dreams and goals, and some of us, myself included, are scared to death to say this, but we're going to try to go paperless and have laptops available for the prosecutors in the courtrooms once Tyler gets on board and is going to hopefully be far more efficient than carrying around and looking for files and papers, as everything will be fully digitized moving forward. So that's the significant increase. Again, not significant maybe, but that's the reason for the increase in the furniture and equipment. Motor vehicle operations, that is ultimately based upon gas price increases. We're hoping and praying for a resolution in the Middle East that might drop those back down again. But for now, that's where that number comes from. Next one, this one is new. This is a request for phones for our victims.
It could be somebody's. Does anybody have their sound up?
Is that better? Test, test.
Yeah.
That next.
Not me.
I'll
Sound like it's coming from another side.
We're getting good feedback.
How's that now? No, I still hear it a little.
You're hearing the end.
It ought to be fine.
John, is your machine muted?
If it was John, that would be.
It's John.
That would
We
be.
blame Carter. We blame Carter. Moving on, telephone request. That is for our victim assistant coordinators, or VACs. I try to highlight those young ladies as much as I possibly can. They handle literally every victim that comes through the office, thousands of cases at a time, whether it's as simple as trying to get receipts gathered for criminal mischief damage, or dealing with victims of sexual assaults, children, adults likewise, or families who have lost loved ones because of a murder. So those young ladies get calls, get text messages, and they are currently, and have been for years, using their personal phones. And that is before, during, and after trials. That is after hours. As you can imagine, a lot of those victims require more special attention than others. And that is, I think, a valid request for them. Next is, I believe, the professional services category. This one, we went back and forth kind of with the auditor's office. What we fully expect to occur sometime at the end of '26, if certainly not in the beginning of '27, will be the prosecution of a capital murder case. If you guys remember, a few years back, the McGregor murders where 5 individuals were killed. We are requesting and then pursuing the death penalty in that case. And that'll be the first time in roughly a decade or more that the death penalty has been sought. And so we are expecting increased costs with experts because of that.
So does the state cover any of that?
The state can provide some grant assistance. I've been in touch with Dustin about that, and we're going to get together and try to reach out and get some of those expenses covered. Yes, sir.
But generally, I thought it'd be much higher than that.
And that's partially, we wanted a place marker, essentially, for that. And we are hopeful that we will get state funding assistance as well. But you absolutely are right. That number is incredibly small for what we expect it to ultimately be in the end.
And further complications or change of venue and things like that?
Correct. We're not as concerned with a change of venue.
Okay.
Because of the time that's passed. What we're most concerned about is expert testimony in regards to psychological issues that have been claimed by the defense at this point in time.
Okay, thank
Can I jump in real quick?
Please.
And so the increase in that professional services line, 20,000, a lot of that related to the case that he's talking about. And then we also threw this in here just again to kind of shine the light on what, we're not sure what the cost of those increased costs may be. So we added a line that just said death penalty case, and that was just to say, hey, we put 100,000 there, something we can move to contingencies, we can hold off on, but just wanted to let y'all know that those can ramp up quickly,
Correct.
various costs there, so.
And we're at a bit of a challenge just because of the amount of time that's passed since a death penalty case was tried here in this county. And so those numbers from those previous cases aren't as accurate anymore. And again, the psychological cost, we're concerned, will be significant. Psychological experts.
Yeah, experts. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Is he competent?
Yes, he has been deemed competent, but he has been in and out of the mental institution down in San Antonio, which is why the defense is pursuing that claim so strongly. But he has been deemed competent.
Okay. Proceed.
Next up, I believe we have the repair and maintenance. That amount of increase was based upon a recommendation from the maintenance department here in the county for our investigator vehicles. And I would defer questions to that department, but that's what they advised we should request for ongoing maintenance of vehicles.
Okay.
Travel reimbursement, that's going to be the same type of thing, just additional increases going to and from ultimately local and other statewide conferences. We're going to end up saving some money because, interestingly enough, the annual state convention for prosecutors is going to be here in Waco in September. And so we'll have all of the prosecutors in the state of Texas visiting us here in Waco. All right, the next one I think will have questions. This was a shock. I don't have anything real positive to say about my reaction to Axon or Evidence.com. This is our software that processes, keeps, stores, uploads, downloads, and shares with defense attorneys all of our evidence that comes in to the office. Evidence.com, Axon being the company, is what every law enforcement agency here in the county utilizes. I've reached out to them. They are feeling the same amount of pain. We had a 5-year contract that expires in October. And despite claims in the past of technology getting cheaper with time, the opposite appears to be true. So there's a significant increase in the software licensing. You'll see $130,000. That is for a 5-year contract. We have met with them on several occasions. They have flown into the office. I attempted, both on the phone, over email, and in person, to play hardball, and unfortunately, they know that they are literally the only game in town. Axon is just shy of a monopoly. We requested information, side-by-side comparisons from other companies. Nothing literally compares. Motorola is a light year or two distant cousin to what Axon and Evidence.com provides. And again, it's a great advantage that they have control over, again, the fact that every agency, law enforcement agency, uses that here in McLennan County. I think it's an unfortunate expense that we're going to have to just pay for. I can answer some questions technologically, money-wise, information that they've given us. They have different payment plans. That's something that we can further explore with the auditor's office. But at the end of the day, it works out to be $130,000 a year.
Okay.
Okay. The next item, professional development, you'll see a slight increase. Ultimately, my goal, just as the district attorney with 34 prosecuting attorneys in our office, is to better and best possibly commit them, prepare them for whatever cases come. We want to ultimately provide them with more opportunities to attend training sessions. We're very careful right now who gets to go to what and when, but there are opportunities out there within our state. We're not talking about sending people all over the world or anything exciting like that, but just to best prepare them for being in the courtroom and ultimately making sure that they're doing these cases to the best of their abilities. And so there's a slight increase in that.
Okay.
So that sums up the increases in his operating lines in general fund. Is there any other questions or anything you would like further based on his
On that
descriptions?
training, does that get everybody trained in 1 year or?
Correct.
And I guess,
And right now, Sybil can answer maybe more accurately, but we stagger people to which go to what conference.
Yes, and this includes everyone, all staff. I know he was talking about attorneys,
Correct.
prosecutors, but it's all staff.
And that includes the victim coordinators, paralegals, investigators, that's everybody.
And really, that's only one training per person.
Yes.
I mean, we don't let them go to more than one.
okay. Questions?
And so next, he has, I think, 2 items on capital outlay. So this is, excuse me, 2 vehicles. This is in Department 7920, and Haley has that highlighted there.
So right now, we have 10 investigators in our office. The court has graciously approved a combination of using vehicles the sheriff's department no longer needs, as well as some new vehicles. But again, we have 10 investigators, 9 vehicles. We have asked for 2 new ones. One to make our investigators whole. We still again have one that is using their personal vehicle. And then the second one would be, depending on what the court does, look like either replacing one of the older vehicles that is requiring additional maintenance now that we had received from the sheriff's department, or if the additional investigator is approved, it would go to that investigator to drive.
Okay.
And that 86,000 is for 2 vehicles.
Still using person.
And I've been corrected. There are 2 investigators right now using personal vehicles. Okay.
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 And then, under personnel, I believe you had a new ad.
That should be that investigator, and I can address that as well.
We'll pull up the detail as well.
All right. So this new investigator position ultimately is the result of 2 additional district courts that are coming online full-time to handle trials for criminal cases, felonies in particular. And
That's got to be somebody.
You know what happens when it rains?
I'm telling you.
It's what?
Heather?
Oh, it's late?
Sorry, I've never had my microphone on before, so I didn't know that it would do that.
Can you mute your microphone or the audio out of the computer?
Yes.
How about now?
Blame it on the rain.
Blame it on the rain. Blame it on the rain. Okay, so
I get her personnel file out.
So we 2 additional felony courts will be online, Judge Bennett and Judge Long. That has, it's a blessing and a curse. Right now, I can tell you that in the 2 felony courts, primary current felony district courts, the 19th and the 54th. In the 19th, there's about 1,600 cases pending, and in the 54th, there's about 2,200 cases pending. And so Judge Long, Judge Bennett have offered to assist in trying some of those cases to alleviate those judges and their dockets, and that is the positive side of it, the blessing side of it, because we'll be able to move more cases. But the curse, by moving more cases, we believe that we can move personnel around and be able to cover those additional courts with attorneys, but we do see a need for an additional investigator. I have our chief investigator here sitting with us, Jason Chambers. He made a somewhat exhaustive list of the day in the life that I can ultimately share with the court if they're interested. But where the need truly is, and I know there might be questions about, well, why would you need an investigator but not additional attorneys? The investigator works with those attorneys, and prior to any trial setting is going to be actively out of the office serving subpoenas, collecting records, and they're going to be doing that not for just one trial, but they're going to be doing that for multiple trials on the docket. Because as you can imagine, as trial dates get closer, defendants have epiphanies, and also various and sundry things can happen. And so the number 1 case may get passed, and you may dive through 3 or 4 after that. And so we are always trying to prepare for the worst and hope for the best, and prepare upwards of 5 cases per court. And so that is 5 sets of subpoenas. That's 5 sets of records. That's 5 times that somebody may have to go to and from the airport to pick somebody up. That might be going to and from a CPS office out of county, or a doctor's office out of county to serve somebody, or to give them rides. Or it might just be even simply looking for a witness that's homeless. And so we believe, again, that we can have an attorney ready and available in these additional courts throughout the weeks, throughout the months, but having that additional investigator to cover those 2 courts would be vitally important, again, just for the logistics of the trial preparation. And I can keep going about how awesome and wonderful our investigators are, but if there's any specific questions about that, I can
So I think one
press.
thing the court's been interested in is, like all these efforts, this is your plan. And has there been discussions, and think I know the answer to this. With the judges, everybody's buying in on the same program, and the ultimate objective is to get folks moved through the process faster, and then, we move them through the jail quicker, and
Absolutely. This is a team effort from literally the clerks to the jailers to the judges to law enforcement to our office. What can we do to expedite and move those people out of the jail as fast as possible? And that coincides with we are physically at the jail every week, every Wednesday, going through and prioritizing these lists. We are in a constant triage mode. And so our goal, again, working with all parties involved, is to keep people out of the jail, get them through the jail, whether that is a plea agreement, whether that's a trial, whatever it might be.
well, we hope you're successful, but that analogy's been used many times to get more money out of the budget.
Well,
If you don't mind, I'm gonna take you back a little further.
let's go.
This is just, has nothing to do with you guys, but from our perspective, since I've been in office, we've realized we had a docket problem.
Yeah.
So Abel came in office, we gave him additional staff. Rocket Docket came along, we funded that, we helped with that. Then we get another DA that comes in for a short period of time, he changes everything up, but what I haven't seen is the dockets get smaller. And, I don't know.
I can address that. So,
Okay.
here's some numbers that impressed us that we got just this week. This is the official crime records from the state of Texas, so they're condensed and somewhat accurate, knowing the state of Texas, keeping that little asterisk in mind. But it provides case numbers from 2020 through 2024. So, the numbers I'll read, and I can provide this to the court too if any of you wish. In 2020, the total cases processed in this office were about 7,800. 21, that was about 7,700, COVID. 2022, that number jumps to almost 8,700. Again, in the same vein, about 8,700 in 23. In 24, that number jumps to over 9,000.
Now, what is that again?
That is cases coming into the office.
So is that arrest?
That's
Is that-
arrests, cases being processed, misdemeanors or felonies, entering
More,
our
more,
office.
more crime then?
Potentially, yes. Now, the latest number was 2024. But what those numbers add up to in those, 5-year period of time, there was 41,771 cases that were processed. When I came into office, the backlog, so I entered January 1st of '23, we had cases that had not been screened, not been reviewed, not been filed, going back upwards of 6 years. I can tell you that by the next grand jury, I am told, which is next Thursday, the oldest case in our office in screening will be January of '26. So we have, in 3.5 years, I think, addressed the backlog with an asterisk. This goes specifically to the dockets. We have moved them from file cabinets and boxes on floors in '23 to now they're in the courts. We did not feel that it was appropriate to just clean sweep and dismiss a bunch of cases, so we've created that intake department that I spoke on before, and so they are working very diligently to move those cases. What I hope, between these 2 additional district courts taking cases on, as well as now being in 2026 as far as screening goes, that you will see a significant impact in the dockets themselves. But I think that it has taken this past 3.5 years to build to that point.
And then the last thing, and you probably have very little control over this, but if you have influence, we would certainly appreciate it, is the weekenders.
Absolutely.
Show
So
us
we've met with the
financially.
jail about the weekend program, that it ultimately is bad, to put it mildly. We have reached out not only to our prosecutors when making offers, but to the judges as well to consider anything but. If it is spurs, If it is a special circumstance of some kind, make it a weekday if all else fails, or some other probation option, whatever it is to avoid taking time, taking energy, and distracting ultimately jailers on the weekends.
That is a great answer. It comes true.
My understanding is the numbers have reduced.
Okay.
The jail can answer that, but I've been told that the weekend numbers have reduced.
And it's just the cost. You know, if we average 30, I was figuring up the other day, it's right at 400,000 a year.
Right.
For people to go and stay the weekend.
Right.
And, the jailers will tell you, they just come in medicated, lay around asleep.
Correct.
You know, but the risk of contraband coming in is extremely high.
Yes, it increases exponentially.
Yes.
So my understanding is they are increasing their SPURS options, services, and so we've been working, again, hand in hand, not only with them, but encouraging and educating the judges. If and when somebody says, hey, can I do weekends, Judge? No. Here's why.
So these are mainly misdemeanors, right?
Correct.
So that answers my question.
It is a rare occasion that a felony judge sentence includes a weekend.
Okay, thank you.
Cases are, according to the numbers that we got, there were fewer cases disposed of in 2025 than in 2024, Josh. How does that work? What's your thoughts on that?
I think that I haven't seen those numbers, but I think part of that might be the triage where we are focusing on the most violent offenders. I can tell you that about 70% of our trials include homicides or kid sexual cases. And that's a product of us, I think, rightfully being very tough on our offers. And so that's part of the fact that you have cases. I can tell you in the 54th, 2 weeks ago, the pretrial docket had 120 cases on it. And that's because, again, we're triaging those most violent offenders, and we're making significant offers, and they're setting them for trial.
We'd seen an upward trend prior to that 2021, 22, 23, 24, and then 25. It went the other direction in disposed cases.
Again, I think that's because we're making tougher offers.
Other questions?
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you all.
They covered it.
So next up, I know we're just a few minutes behind. We'll go to JP 12, Judge Durham.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So Judge Durham has some increases in his operating lines that we'll have him walk through, and then also personnel requests as well.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Thank y'all for letting us come in today.
Sir.
Oh,
So Judge, we have your budget pulled up there, and so Haley will highlight those lines, and then if you have any other information you want to provide them, just as to those increases, that would be helpful. They would appreciate it.
okay, well, I've asked for increase in, pretty much everything because, prices increased in supplies, and cases have increased each year, so everything's going up. So for different supplies, computers, asked for new computer screens for the office. I'm looking at maybe getting a replacement desk and different things, travel and reimbursement has gone up. I get called out quite often on inquest. What else we got?
What is, Francis, what is column F?
Those are projections for this current year.
So the projection is, Judge, that you're gonna spend 4,500, but you're asking for 2,000 more.
Yes, sir.
Projection is you're gonna spend 3,000, 2,000 more. Projection is you're gonna spend only 1,200, but you're asking for 6,800 more. Are our projections right, or are we?
Projection, so that's his current budget. So
That's
you'll
the
see
current
there.
budget.
So you'll see there, just like, look at supplies, so, he's budgeted 4,500. So at this point, he can't spend more than 4,500 unless you amend his budget. But you can see there, he's already spent, that middle column, column E is what he has spent to date, or as of June 30th, rather. And so, just based on that, and still a few months left in the year, you can see that, he's requesting an increase for that next year, since he's bumping it up. He's bumping up to his budget max. I know in furniture equipment, he said there's some new things he'd like to buy for his staff and himself in that office is coming in as a new judge. Furniture and equipment's one that's always, I know, cyclical, not always steady year to year. So.
Okay.
I think on the travel reimbursement, just going back to when we met with you about your budget, you can see there that he's already spent almost, $4 short of his budget.
yeah.
And I think you had mentioned that, you were going out more than doing things online,
Yes.
as far as some of the.
Yes, I had to ask for increase in budget today because I had like $4 left for travel, so.
You only go so far, Hayes.
Yes, sir.
Get you lunch, but not home.
Have you noticed any,
Val, you know, they
with
give
the
me lunch.
death investigator, has any of that improved?
So Diane pretty much uses the death investigator. If I'm unavailable, then, I ask him to assist me. But I pretty much take care of, that's my week I'm on call, and I see that that's my duty to take care of the inquest.
So y'all rotate by week?
So yes, Diane is on call this week. I'll be on call the next week. Already for the year, I've done over 100 inquests. So basically, you look at, I've been on call half the year, and I've done over 100 in 3 months. So I'm sure she's probably right there at the same.
But hers she's being helped now by the death investigator.
Yes, since the death investigator was hired and she's got him
Well,
trained.
Okay, well then, like when it's your week and not hers, what is that death investigator doing during your week?
So during my week, it's his off week. Like there's times I'll be unavailable here August and October, and he will assist me on the weeks that I'm unavailable. But when I'm on call, I handle all my calls, and that's basically his off week.
And she's gonna have more calls, right?
She gets to hospitals, but a lot of those
I
are.
think say we both get
that's-
to hospitals, so we're precinct 1, so we both.
Yeah, both of
The
them.
hospitals keep us busy, having
Okay.
both of them.
How many of those are done by phone?
Out of the 100 and something I've done one by phone.
You don't do it?
I don't believe, if I'm putting my name on something, I want to show up on scene so I can say I was on scene, I saw what I saw.
Yeah.
I pretty much, when I show up on something, I look, like a police officer. I'm doing an investigation, so I want to know, hey, what medicines they took, what health
Yeah.
issues did they have? So I go on, like I said, if I get called on an inquest, I'm showing up in person.
Right. And Commissioner, I think when we approved that position too, that we asked Judge Hensley to give us some feedback, and I think it'd be appropriate
Let's see.
before too long that we,
What were the hours we approved a week? 20 hours? Was it 20?
I think it was,
Do you remember what many hours a week?
That's only
Honor-
part-time, but.
But
It's
only,
part-time.
only upon being called out. Yeah, he's not banking money just sitting at the house.
Hours per week,
15?
And the hours being used so far this year, we're on track with what had been planned on during the
Okay.
budget. We have emailed her probably a couple weeks ago for an update, asking her to ensure that design was working for her, or if she expected any changes going into fiscal year 27, and so we're awaiting.
On track with it, though.
We're currently, yes, and then we've asked her, we're waiting a response to see if there's any planned changes for 2027.
Okay. Anything else?
Here, if there's nothing else you need to add, and they're just gathering information now, and then we'll come back, and if they have further questions, they can let you know as well.
Okay,
Personnel, and then we'll go to your personnel.
okay, I would also like to ask for an additional clerk due to the amount of cases that are filed. I asked Stacy if she would put together some of the numbers that our court has handled. You don't mind, can I pass it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I asked Stacy if she would put together the number of cases that we've had from 2023 up until the present. And if you look on the left of all the cases that we have been handling, and you go across, you see that the numbers of cases filed each year has continually gone up and increased. You know, I'm not present in the office every day and staying in there to see what's going on. My office is down the hall, but when I do go in there, they are always on the phone helping somebody. Somebody's coming in to take care of a ticket, to file a claim, and they're having to put somebody on hold. Stacy being bilingual is a big positive for our office, because she is, about every phone call is bilingual, and that's a big positive and a big help for our office. And they really have no downtime from the time what they open to the time they close. And I'm asking for an additional clerk to help alleviate some of the burden on them, and also for all the approval for all the necessary office equipment that the additional clerk would need.
You have 2 clerks now?
I have 3 now. We just
three now.
hired Destiny, 2 months ago? And Destiny is a quick learner. She hopped right in there, and she is doing a great job.
I just put up the HR volume data. I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for, Commissioner Jones.
Yep.
And so this orange column here, these are cases per staff for Judge Durham's precinct. So he has the second highest volume of cases per staff amongst all the precincts. So HR did have this as a recommended.
I can say precinct 1 is, you know, not the biggest. I think precinct 4 is the biggest, but precinct 1 is the heaviest populated precinct in the county, so therefore we handle a lot of cases.
Any other follow-up questions or things that you need?
Any questions?
I'd also like to, you know, ask if, you know, they could get a pay raise for the next budget year,
In next budget year,
for this budget year.
after I'm
coming
gone?
up. Yeah, after you're gone. Yeah, if you prove that before you're gone.
Francis, anything else?
Okay. No, I think we're good, as long as y'all have what you need. Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank y'all for your time.
Okay.
So next we have Judge Richardson, JP 4. He is Department 1641.
Good afternoon.
Can be front and center.
How are y'all?
Good. You got me here all the way from McGregor, Texas.
Yeah, boy.
Made it in one day?
That was long, made it in two. I had to spend the night.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Here's my annual spreadsheet that I get you.
Thank you.
Bottom one is the most current. I will tell you that that is OCA numbers. That's actually what the chief clerks put into OCA. I've only totaled it up across the board, so there's nothing added or deleted from it. And then you will see where we do the truancy cases. And it's been pretty much decided by our clerks, Judge Miramontes, their clerks, that there's 4 hearings per case. Contrary to what Anna's gonna say, did she leave the room? She's in the back. So, yes, there is an initial, and yes, there is a dismissal. In between is what we explore. Ankle monitors, drugs, attendance, truancy, we got it all. So,
No, excuse me, about, on the truancy, you saying that every one truant, there's 4 different,
for every case filed, we're gonna do 4 total hearings.
okay, got you. Okay.
4. There's gonna be an initial, 2 follow-ups, and a dismissal.
Okay, thank you.
That's pretty much standard. Some of them will go 6,
Yeah.
some of them will go 3, but the average is real easy 4.
4,
So
okay.
like if there's 300 cases filed. then
That's
you're talking about-
1,200
You're talking about
hearings.
1,200 hearings.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I totaled that up over on the far right side. So I took the total, the total of all the, everything, jail duty, civil, tickets, everything. And if you go over there, you'll see your totals in the purple on the right. And it says truancy times 3. So I took the 2 costs for truancy times 3, and then you add that to the initial truancy numbers for your total hearings. Then you add up all the total, what I called events. Events would be 40 people on a weekend at the jail doing magistration, EPOs, conditions of bond, ignition interlocks, bond modification hearings. All of that, and over in the far right corner is total, I just called them events because they're not all cases, because a lot of the stuff we do are not in court. That comes straight out of OCA, and those are the numbers. The only thing that's been added to it is the 3-time factor that has been added to truancy, because there's not just an initial hearing and there's not an initial dismissal. And y'all keep those and refer to those, but like I said, we pull them directly out of OCA. And you're gonna see at the bottom, and I don't gonna throw anybody on the bus, but the facts are, you've got precinct 3 and there's zeros all the way across the board. So they haven't reported anything into OCA this year. I can only get the numbers as what's reported.
Have you talked to,
We don't, not our business. We take care of precinct 4,
I'm not
and we
de-
get to run the numbers, we run them.
I'm not defending, I
Okay.
mean, I'll make a call to see if there's something wrong with their reporting.
He's been down quite a few clerks.
So,
They've had their own struggles, so. I just wanted to give you this as a basis
Thank you.
for anybody that comes in, you know.
So
because
if you add up parent truancy filings, child truancy filings, add that to the times 3, that gets you the number of 2388.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's the total number of times they were in our courtroom, and we were having 15 to 20-minute hearings with each one of them, either giving them a follow-up or giving them a dismissal.
Okay.
Judge, which school districts do you most
I have
commonly?
everybody but University, La Vega, Conley, and Waco High. They go to see Judge Miramontes. I have everybody else, excluding West. They do their own thing. I just picked up Harmony. Harmony left this year. We did a little training, and with the understanding that they're going to come back next year and they're going to add the elementary levels, because there are people getting picked up. 9 o'clock is when they take attendance. They're getting picked up at 11:30 or 12. They're not staying until 3. They realize that they're losing the education and they're missing parts of their school. We had Midway Truancy, which used to be our biggest, at about 220 to 230 a year. This year, it dropped off about 75 to 100 because we lost a 27-year truancy director, Ms. Harrison, and we picked up Mr. Fisher. Mr. Fisher's doing a great job. He also told us the last week of the school year to expect 100 more cases next year minimum. So we ended the year at 597. It's probably going to be somewhere in the low 700s.
Just for Midway?
No, that's for all schools.
Okay.
For all schools. We're going to be over 700. That's, that, and then
Okay,
you
I see.
multiply that times 4, that's about 2,800 hearings. The reason I give you these numbers is because we're here for budget. And you've got our budget pulled up there, and we're at 4, I guess. I need to get some glasses on. Supplies is at 4, is that correct?
Currently at 4.
And we're currently at, you say 5?
So yes, you're
We're
requesting.
actually at 55, aren't we?
Yes.
I think we're at actually 5,500 because we begged, borrowed, and transferred
We've transferred him
to
1,500.
get to there. So when we left, we were at 5,500, so we're 1,500 over already with 2 more months, 2.5 months left.
Now, which line are we, I'm sorry, which?
I'm just looking at the top line. I watched what everybody
Supplies.
else said.
Oh, the top
Yeah,
line.
just the
Oh,
top
okay, I was trying to pull up, okay.
Yeah.
We got supplies and we about doubled it. And the reason we doubled it is we're already at 5,500 when Courtney pulled the numbers the day before we left. And we've still got 2 months and 2 weeks left to go. And we already know that next year, we're probably going to have over 700 cases filed.
Just insurance.
So, for truancy, so that's gonna blow the paper out of the water. The ink cartridges, the kits for our printers. So we hedged that a little bit. I had no idea we were gonna get a 27% increase this year in truancy. And with everything involved, and I keep saying truancy because when the school files, there's a lot of papers that we have to generate, and we have to get them to the DA. And then DA brings them back to us, then we have to send them to the school, we have to send them to the parent. We electronically, and then we mail. And then for every follow-up is more paperwork, more emails, more in person. And it's just insurmountable, and I've already looked at every shortcut, loophole, anything I could find, and we have to follow the statute for notification.
How often do you find that you're fining the parents?
I don't. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm not trying to make money. It's a $96 court cost at the initial visit. I rarely ever charge it. I want you to understand, and I'm pretty blunt and to the point, I'm not getting the star quarterback, the head cheerleader, the AB honor roll people. We've got families that have other challenges. There may be mental health, finances, incarcerations. There's a lot of things going on. So I try to find the root cause of the attendance problem, and it may be mental health, which is something I've mentioned before. I now have Clara sitting in the back room. I can take them and I can have one-on-ones, get them enrolled, and then get them some mental health counseling either on campus or away at their facility. I use that as an instrument for community service. So if a kid needs 40 hours of seat time to get credit for his grades at the school, and I find we have a mental health issue, I give them community service credit for the mental health, and it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It gets them some help, helps resolve the problem, and at the same time, it provides hours to the school for seat time. The reason, Courtney, why don't we do money?
Most of our families that come in don't have the money. So their case is going to sit there for years and years and years. We're going to mail out more letters. We're going to put omni holds that they can't afford to pay. The cases are going to continue to sit there. There's no resolution when judge were to fine court cost or give the fine to these families.
So how do you leverage the parents to buy into the process?
Parents?
Yeah.
I can have them arrested, I can go pick them up at their work, cuff them, take them to jail for 3 days, drug test them, CPS becomes involved. I got a lot of leverage.
Does that happen very often?
Yes, yeah. We do a whole lot of writ of attachments. We work with the sheriff's department. They do a great job for us. They go out and hunt them down, pick them up, and give them the option of either following them to McGregor, or you can take a ride in a Tahoe and get your own ride home. And we do that.
Okay.
We actually sent a couple of parents this year to jail for contempt. We actually arrested a couple of students. We had one that I dismissed from truancy court. I had him sit right back down. The chief of the school police came and charged them and arrested them. I read them their rights, set their bond, and we took them to jail. We were the one-stop shop, baby. So, I mean, that's what we're dealing with. So given what I've just told you, it's just dang near impossible to have, well, Mr. Perry, your child has 17 absences and you've pled no contest, and I'm going to give you this and this and give you 2 weeks to fix it. And when we come back, you've done it all, and I'm saying, you're dismissed, great job. It never happens. Well, the car broke down and we were sick and we missed 2 days of school and I can't afford to go to urgent care. I don't have a doctor's note, and you've worked in law enforcement, you know how it works. So,
I had a citizen ask me a question, could the schools, pay into it, since you're helping their ADA, average daily attendance, could they participate in the,
the school pay for me?
yeah, pay for the court costs?
I haven't found anywhere in the statute that allows that.
Well, yeah, it might be just a donation.
I haven't,
I don't know legally with.
I haven't thought of that.
I'd have a hard time with that with school
I would question that question, Judge.
Well, I'll talk to that, citizen.
Yeah. Like I said, I told y'all 12 years ago, this job was created for the people's court and to serve the people. And, you know, we don't use it as a source of income. If I thought that $96 in every case would solve the problem, then I would certainly do it. And we tried initially and found out we still have cases open from 8 and 10 years ago that we can't close.
Please don't think that we're asking you to provide a source of income,
Right.
but we have to pay for everything.
I
under
know,
this
you gotta
building.
keep the lights on.
Right,
And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that we do,
Doesn't keep
it's not associated with a court cost or a filing fee. Going to the jail, they don't get no money for that. It doesn't cost anything to file truancy. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
And I think we've stepped up and answered the call.
Any other line items?
Well, we got furniture and equipment, and we bought a desk. You know, we added the fourth clerk that we got last year, and we had to add desk and all that. And we're running out of room in the courtroom right now. We have a huge filing cabinet with roll-out doors. We would like to get a duplicate cabinet of that to put on the other side of the bench so we can keep things internalized and not in and out, in and out. And then the clerks are looking at possibly getting double monitors on their desks so they can pull back and forth and work more efficiently.
Do y'all ever use archives?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, these are just, that other filing cabinet would be for pending cabinets.
Those are just
When-
pending cases.
Yeah, during truancy time, we have cases, they're everywhere. So it would just be great to have an extra storage.
Okay.
I just made a few notes. I mean, truancy's increased 27%, and we think it's going to be over 700 next year. Civil cases, we're going to be over 1,000 this year. Last year, we were at 896. That's going to be a 10% increase. Things that are not captured in the OCA report and the numbers, I do juvenile magistrations. That's paperwork, that's travel, all that good stuff. We've got emergency protective order modifications, bond modification hearings, ignition interlock bond revocation hearings, everything that stems from the jail. So that's something that's not captured in a report. You go to the jail and you do 30 people with 42 charges, and 5 of them are second DWI or more, you have to order an interlock or a scram. You give them 30 days, and if they don't do that, we have to have a hearing.
Right.
And they have to come out and explain to me with their lawyer or themselves, and it's either bond revocation, go back to jail, or give them an extension. And here lately, we're starting to have more condition of bond and emergency protective order modifications because the cases are not yet filed with district or county court, so I retain jurisdiction until that point. So I'll have the DA, I'll have CPS, we're talking about kids, visitation, all that time, money, supplies, and that's not captured in those numbers anywhere. Language translation, this year I had one, probably two, sign language interpreters, three.
Three.
We had three. It's $300 a hearing for a sign language interpreter. If I have 4 hearings for one family, that's $1,200.
Those are truancy families.
And those are truancy families. So we expect, and we know those families have smaller kids, and there are some families I've seen for 9 years. So we know that we're gonna have them back next year, if not the initial kid, one of the others below.
Yeah.
So that's when I was looking at language translation. Travel reimbursement, I went up to 6. Well, I've been doing MARC, and that's 75 miles to do. I've got 2 magistrations this week for the Sheriff's Department. I have 2 last week for Waco PD. So I'm on the road a lot, and our precinct is growing. So with more people come more problems or more deaths. And so I kind of hedged on that. I'm not going to lie to you. But every year, we're always robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're robbing this to go to supplies. So it's like stamps. We've been robbing and robbing, and we finally went up to 4,000, and I think that's a good number. I think we're finally at square, but we're not there for everything else. So we bumped where we could. If there's anything you question, I'm all in.
I'm not questioning anything, but I did learn something in some presentations the other day when somebody, and remind me who it was, talked about on the translation, using app or.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're
This was
absolutely horrible.
John, do you know anything? Do you remember that discussion?
When at the SO, they're gonna do a trial,
Yeah.
they're gonna do
It's a more advanced, not like your regular app, but anyhow, we'll look at that, but.
We use it now. We use it now when Dan Carroll's not available, and they're absolutely horrible.
The phone line.
The phone, you call in, and then they find out it's court-related, so they have to take it up a notch to get a more certified court personnel person. Well, when you're used to Dan Carroll, and you're getting somebody, and they don't repeat, and there's no flow, and there's confusion, we try not to use them at all, but we have used them multiple times this year.
Okay,
And if there's a better mousetrap, please let us know.
okay. We'll look for them. Maybe a while.
I don't.
Everybody's better than Dan.
Anybody have any questions for me while you got me?
I don't have any questions,
Captive audience
but
right here.
I have spoken with some principals who use your court and they sing your praises. Enough
Thank
said,
you.
Okay?
Again, I'll go back to Ben's question. When these kids come in here, I'm trying to help the kids.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make money, and I realize what works for one may not work for another. And Ben, there are people that come in, Commissioner Perry, there are people that come in, and the 96 or the $100 fine is the right thing to do, and we have done it. But on a regular basis, that doesn't work for probably 90% of our clientele.
But at the end of the day, you still have leverage, and that's the only thing I was getting at, is and when you can send them to the Highway 6 facility, that's some good leverage.
Oh, I do that. And we do a lot of drug tests. I've actually, I have Health Shield that I've worked with, Dr. Villa, and we've reduced it down to where we have a $40 court call, a $40 charge for the drug testing.
Yes.
The other ones were in the $50 and $75 range. So again, first visit, and you get your spidey senses say, they're gonna fail. Well, if you send them for that, that's 40 and 96, now you're in $104. And you don't know if,
Yeah.
you know, I proceed with caution. I'm trying to find the root cause of the problem.
Okay, any questions for the judge?
Nope.
All right. Appreciate it, sir.
Good job.
Thank y'all very much.
For your hard work.
Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, those came from somebody else, I was quoting somebody else.
Hey, I'll take those prompts wherever I can get them, baby.
I'd give you a hard time, Judge.
Okay, so just moving right along, we have Judge Swanton and Amy Lowry with Specialty Courts next. They are Department 1455.
Good afternoon, how's everybody doing?
Fine, how are you, Judge?
Fine.
Hello, Amy.
I brought Amy for backup, the real boss of the whole department.
Yeah.
So Judge, we'll go through the operating lines first and the increases there. In their personnel, they have some adjustments budget-wise just because there's a lot of grant activity that is intertwined into their office, and so that has changed. But right now, we're just starting at supplies and working our way down, and so I think really the only you had one decrease, but the main line that increased was that professional services line.
Right.
So that's what we're needing some
Yes.
background on.
So, as the court's aware, we try to abide by what are called best practices that's put out by organizations that kind of govern specialty courts. And those best practices cover everything from how often you should drug test, what kind of meetings you should have, how long the judge should talk to participants in courts, that sort of thing. It also covers who all is involved in the treatment team. We have a lot of folks on our treatment team, treatment providers, a member of the DA's office, we have a defense lawyer, we have case managers, our court staff, law enforcement officials, kind of covers most of the people. That increase is to help pay the defense lawyers. For
I'm sorry.
the defense lawyers who are on the treatment team, as far as I know, there has never been an increase in what the defense lawyers are paid since Judge Freeman started DWI drug court. That may not be totally accurate, but I know it's always been what I would consider to be almost a volunteer nominal sum. They currently make $125 for their help in our court when they come to court. Not per hour, that's just what they make, 125 flat fee. And in all honesty, I think it's miraculous that we've had defense lawyers be willing to do that for the time we've had specialty courts. For better or for worse, since I started handling treatment courts, I think it's fair to say that for each of the three courts, we probably have longer court periods. Those defense lawyers are part of the treatment team, so they appear at staffing, which is typically an hour to an hour and a half before court starts. Then they appear and stay for court. Our courts now, our court proceedings, actual court proceedings, probably last an average of 2 to 2.5 hours. Sometimes they go as long as 4 hours. So it's possible, for instance, in Veterans Treatment Court, which we have today, starting at 10:30 is when staffing starts. And this was a particularly short day for Veterans Treatment Court, but we started staffing at 10:30, and then we got done about 1:30 for court. So people were in court roughly 3 hours. Everybody else, as far as I know, gets paid to come to court either by their agency or the county in some ways. You know, certainly the DA's office comes and they're represented and they're paid. What we're requesting the court to do, because of the vital role that the defense lawyers play in our treatment team, is increase the budget amount to $60,000. That would represent $20,000 per treatment court that we have to pay the defense lawyers. I think the way we came up with that figure was we tried to calculate basically a 4-hour time period on average at $125 an hour. And Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, or Francis, you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong about that. But that came up to around that figure. Or I think we may have actually reduced that figure some at Francis's suggestion. And willingly did that. It does not compensate the defense lawyer for any work they do outside court, which they do a considerable amount of work for. For instance, we often ask our defense lawyers to help draft documents that are necessary to get occupational licenses for participants if they're eligible. We ask them to help with questions about divorce proceedings, if somebody wants to get some general advice about divorce proceedings. We ask them to give general advice about, if somebody is getting kicked out of court, we have started a new procedure because of, again, best practices due processes which we were not doing, which we call now a discharge hearing. And if we decide that somebody no longer is doing well enough to stay in our court, either they've continually violated court rules, they don't want to be in it any longer, they're just not doing well enough to actually benefit from court anymore, on a rare occasion, we file a notice of discharge. That was never done before. I went to a seminar, it's probably been a year and a half now, it was certainly last summer, I guess, in which I realized we weren't providing that kind of due process for our participants, and that's against best practices. So now a person gets a written notice of, here's the reason we're asking you to be discharged from court. They get a laundry list of those violations. They get an opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at the hearing. They get an opportunity to hear evidence at those hearings. And the defense lawyer plays a vital role in that because they represent the participant during those hearings. They have to meet with them ahead of those hearings to give them advice about what's going to happen, what's the best approach to take during those hearings for that participant. So they're doing extra work outside of just those 4 hours of court that they are not being compensated for, and this figure would not even represent their compensation for that. So as you can see, it's a substantial increase. We recognize that's a substantial increase, but we think it's justified because it's absolutely necessary. We have a defense lawyer on the treatment team, and I think we're requiring so much of them that at some point they're going to go, I agreed to do this, but I was a young lawyer when I did it, and it's, at some point, we're going to lose them if we don't compensate them.
Kind of put it in context, in probate and guardianship cases, we hire what's called an ad litem that represents a person, individual that can't speak for themselves. And we pay much more than that. We have, you can say it's $100 an hour, but it's a $500 maximum unless there's some extenuating circumstances that cause them to do a lot of research and all. But they have to be able to advise the judge on the bonds and things like that. And, we're basically down to 3 even at that. And we need more ad litems. And, the problem is getting them interested to quit doing what they're doing to come over and help us with this.
Right.
And so, very seldom, though, they charge us over $500. It's not frequent at all. But, and that was up from, I think it was 300 when I came here.
Yes. I remember doing those ad litem, Judge, and it used to be 300.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So anyhow.
And we currently have 4 defense lawyers, two that kind of rotate and alternate out of mental health court, and one that's veterans treatment and one that's recovery court. They're all really good young lawyers. Stan Swieger's not so young anymore, but he's a really good lawyer. That have become very involved. They represent the clients well. They are active participants in the treatment team. But I'm just concerned that if we don't figure out a way to compensate them better, that we will ultimately lose them. I know when Judge Freeman started D-Day Bad Drug Court, I acted as a treatment team defense lawyer for a while. And you kind of did it as a favor to Judge Freeman.
Yeah.
And you did it because that was a new program. You wanted it to be successful. And I think to some degree that tradition has carried on. But it's just gotten to a point where it's just not fair.
Are you running out of favors?
Probably a long time ago. Yes, sir, probably a long time ago. Anyway, that's the reasoning behind that increase, and I recognize it's a substantial increase, but given the time they put in, it still probably doesn't truly adequately compensate them, but I know they would appreciate that increase.
Do y'all do any work with Waco Family Medicine with your clients?
Yes.
What type of relationship is that?
It's a really good relationship. Amy and I had a meeting a couple of months ago with one of the doctors, with 2 of the caseworkers, 3 of the caseworkers, I guess, or one of the directors. and was a nurse. And so there's a little bit of limit on what we're able to do, and that could be changing because their grant funding is primarily limited, Commissioner, to folks who have jail involvement. Not all of our court participants have jail involvement. And so if they're not in jail and getting out of jail, then it's harder to get that grant money to apply for them. I think there may be some flexibility that they're talking about maybe changing that, and we're working on that. The primary way we're using them right now is in our conditions of bond program, which is designed to get people out of jail that have been there for an extended period of time, that either have some mental health issues and or co-occurring drug issues. We try to get them out of jail so they're not costing the county that basically $100 a day and get them in treatment. And they do that either through BHN, and now sometimes they're getting those same kind of treatment through the Waco Family Medicine. They have been pretty good about seeing some of our clients and getting the medical treatment. We get, what's the card called that they use there? There's a Good Health card. And so we've had some participants in all three courts be able to go to Waco Family Medicine under a Good Health card. And they do really good work, as you know. So we are trying to work with them more.
Anything else stand out?
I noticed the $2,000 software licensing support. Amy, you might speak to that. I'm not really sure what went down. What
That
that's.
was for DIMS. I think that EDOC, there was a piece there, and that's been pulled and
Okay.
moved over into the Tyler line, so.
Yes, and we worked long and hard, and IT worked long and hard with us, as John can testify about trying to fit our data program into the Tyler system. And as we worked through that, and it was working well, the state has decided they're going to try to have all the specialty courts operate under a software program, which is the current software program, DIMS, that we use. Is that correct?
Most likely.
We think that's going to happen. So we informed IT about that and said, look, there's no reason for us to continue to train and convert to Tyler when the state's going to require us to use another system anyway. So we kind of backed out of that, and IT was really great in how they worked with us. So I don't know if that figure represents that situation at all, or if it changed because of that.
Change
If it's
somewhere.
related to that Tyler, to the Tyler piece, it's kind of housed in the mother Tyler
Okay.
line, the big cost there, so.
We are going to remain on EDOC in terms of accessing the district and county court records, absolutely. But in terms of our database, which is what we were trying to convert to Tyler, remember we decided because of the state system requiring us to use their database, we backed out of that part of it. Yes, we are going to want to still have access to EDOC. We'll discuss that offline. Okay,
Yes, I think that 2,000 is just specifically for the DIMS.
okay, okay.
Yes, that will remain
We can discuss more.
All right.
Following this meeting.
Francis, anything else?
For specialty courts, they did have a few personnel
Right.
increases, so I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add for those.
The salary increases for the
Yes,
four?
sir.
So, yes, I'm very appreciative of what appears to be recommended raises for those four individuals. I've said this before, and I think the judge and the commissioners are aware of the work that Amy does in all different areas of our specialty courts, not only in, coordinating the specialty courts, but in getting grant funding. That's a huge job, the grants that she works on. She could tell you better what percentage of her time she spends updating those, applying for those. I came before the court just a few weeks ago with that potential $2 million grant that we hope to get. I don't know if we will, but we hope to. But she spent a good 2 weeks trying to gather all the documentation for that. So I've been asking for a raise for her for a while, and I think that's well justified. And our case managers also are deserving of a raise. They do a lot of good work for the court and often work after hours and on weekends when they probably shouldn't, but do because of the necessity of people calling them and being in the middle of a crisis. So we appreciate the court considering those raises also.
Okay. Okay, well, that will be taken into consideration.
All right, thank you all very much.
And so I've known you a long time and was very happy when you were selected to be in that position that you're in specialty court. And you've exceeded my expectations, and especially you're smart enough to know that Amy is a key part to the whole operation there too, and a true professional and understands the mental health world, which is very hard to understand.
Well, Judge, not very many people call me smart, but you're right, I am smart enough to know that. So she does a
Plenty
great
smart.
job.
And we appreciate your service.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
It's very noticeable too, the work you guys are doing is starting to pay off, and we're seeing.
I do want to add that all the salaries are, with the exception of just, I think, 2 or 3 are 100% grant funded. So
Okay.
that will be reimbursed from grants. So there won't be any cost to the county. There's no match.
That's
2
always
weeks
good
on one
news.
grant.
It was a lot.
You live an exciting life.
Mr.
I
Parent,
just took a vacation for it.
I don't think you were here the day that I presented that. I think the folder I brought over was like this, that she had paperwork that she had to compile from various sources, so. We hope we get that grant. It's, as I told the court at the time, they're limiting it to 50 folks to apply, and only 19 across the country are getting it. So it's probably not going to be really accessible to us, but if it is, it'd be a major coup for Amy.
If you don't ask, the answer is no.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you all for your help.
Thank you, guys.
Let me take a 5-minute recess. I've got a call that may be important.
Recording in progress.
Or call court back in session. Real quick on the hammer. All right, Francis?
Yes, sir. So next we have Constable Precinct 1, Walt Strickland, also with April Glover. And their operating budget actually had a decrease, so I don't feel there's any need to go there. We've already tentatively checked that one off. But they do have items in capital outlay and then a personnel request. I'll start here, and Haley has it. One of them, I'll just go ahead and talk about that second line. This is year 5 of the Axon body camera agreement that we have entered, and so that we have that placed there based on previous actions of the court. And so if you wanted to talk a little bit about the Dodge Durango request.
We just would note that last year we deferred on a vehicle because things were tight, but we really can't do that this year. We need a spare vehicle, and if we don't get the Durango, the new car, then we can't put one into spare.
And we're borrowing one from the sheriff's office right
Yeah.
now.
How many of your units are, for lack of better terms, hand-me-downs? Came from
Actually, the sheriff's department one is that we just got,
Okay.
is our hand-me-down. Our oldest vehicle is a 2016, and that's the one we got when we first started getting patrol vehicles. So,
Long time ago.
yes, our 2016 is the first vehicle we ever got from the courts.
It was 10 years.
It's 10
A
years, it's
lifespan
got
of 10.
170,000 miles on it. But the one that the sheriff's office lent us until we were able to get another one, because the one we did was a 2009, and it had 225,000, and the dash wasn't working, it had Christmas tree lights, the air conditioner went out, and you can't do anything in
And
the
Tam
summer.
said, quit bringing it to him.
So they let us borrow one until we could obtain another, basically.
What did they give you to borrow? I'm
A
curious what they had.
20, I think it's a 2019 Chevy Tahoe with 107,
70,000?
about
I was going to say,
170,000.
that's normally when they try to,
Yeah. So it was the best one they had left over.
When we started this, the vehicle purchases, at that time, we were taking mileage. If you remember, we were doing mileage. And we were able to sit down and show the judge where we're spending more money putting out mileage for nothing every year than if we own a vehicle. And so that very first year we purchased, and it's 10 years old now. So I'd say the court got its money's worth out of that one.
And we did have hand-me-downs from the sheriff's office for the other ones, but they just got too old, so they were.
What is uplifting? Is it
Upfitting?
upfitting?
It's putting on all the lights and
Oh, okay.
everything to make it a patrol vehicle, patrol-ready vehicle.
Y'all put cages in y'all's too?
Yes, because we do end up taking people to
Right,
jail.
exactly.
So, yes. That includes the radio, all the lighting, everything that entails it being patrol-ready.
Any other questions on that?
Any other questions on the budget?
So their other requests that we just wanted to touch on was an increase. They already have a part-time budget that they utilize and utilize fully, and so they're asking for an increase in that line. And so moving it to $35,000 from $31,000, which is a $4,000 increase, plus taxes.
We did take some from we don't use a lot of our postage, so we removed some money from postage to incorporate that. So out of our actual budget, it's only like a $2,500 increase we're asking for, because we did reduce money from one of our lines to try to incorporate that.
And y'all will expend your part-time this year?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
We have found our part-timers to be a tremendous asset to us, and it prevents us from having to come to the court and say, hey, we need a full-time person. And we have much more control of their schedule without having to work a 40-hour week. It's,
Sometimes we get 2 courts that go on at the same time, so we have to find a bailiff, and so the part-time can step in for that. if we have someone that takes vacation, they can go out and do, serve papers and all that.
And something, speaking of bailiffs, we would just ask the court to be aware that we're now running 2 full-time JPs, where we were running a half day for each one. And as they're doing that, that means we're having to provide bailiffs twice as many hours out of the day that we were before.
Are they running their courts on the same day?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes.
And we use Judge Durham's little room in there to do some of the court, because there's no other courtroom available. But when the new Justice Center opens, they plan on having 2 completely operational full-time courtrooms, so,
And that's our JPs,
yeah,
Yeah.
1-1 and 1-2.
1.1 and 1.2, yeah.
Yes.
Questions? Let him off easy.
Yeah, let him off easy. That's right.
Gosh, we're so disappointed.
What happens toward the end of the day? Beat down.
We'll remember that.
We're beat down.
Hey, don't
Or
be
just
telling our
keep stealing
secrets.
the-
Everybody be scheduled for 4:30.
Be waiting till 4 to come in.
Okay.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, guys, appreciate you.
So next, we have a last-minute change of schedule, but we have Herlinda Grusendorf with us. She is actually on Zoom, to join us by Zoom. She is with CSCD, Adult Probation, and so she's going to talk a little bit through the operating request, if she's available too, and then also they have a capital request. And we mentioned this, I think maybe last week, this week, I can't remember, but of course, their budget is primarily funded by the state, and it flows through us, but it is funded by the state, and so there are some items that are not allowable under their grant funds, and so that's what you'll see here primarily, so. So Herlinda, if you don't mind, if you'd like to talk through some of those increases, if you can see the screen on the Zoom.
Yes, I can see those. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm filling in for Chip today. He was out unexpectedly. So I'm going to do my best to answer any questions that might come up. This year, we are asking for some of the usual requests that we have. We are prepared to reduce some of our office furniture requests, as well as we have some potential options on the related to ADA accommodation furniture. We tend to try to be proactive with those items. However, we can look at some options in perhaps asking for the court to consider as those requests come up throughout next budget year. But we are asking for a significant request in portable radios. We currently have curfew teams that go out between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And unfortunately, this past year, we had some officers come under fire at one of their checks. And the safety aspect is really at a state level, something that we're looking at. And as progressive as the CSCD has been with safety, these officers fortunately made it out. But it had us take a look at maybe some alternative safety measures, and one of those was portable radios. We have been in contact with the Sheriff's Department, and so part of our request in asking the court to consider this is they would be the same radios that the Sheriff's Department utilizes. They have been gracious enough to advise that they can provide the training, and will also be monitoring our traffic during the curfew checks. Although we have officers that do field visits, we're only asking for the 9 to supply the 3 teams of 3 officers that go out for curfew, because that is when we see the biggest, or the times that we've endured different safety concerns. I'm happy to take any questions, or is there anything else that I might need to cover?
So Herlinda, and on the screen, Haley has highlighted those 9 portable radios that you were talking about. And so we have that under capital outlay, and she spoke on that need. And then back to the operating, I know you said that y'all may be willing to cut that some to make that more even with last year's budget. And so if you just want to let us know what that could be, and you can email that to us if you like, and we'll make that
Okay.
adjustment.
How much were the 9 portables?
They were 26,000,
26?
sorry, 26,389.
And so what we've looked at,
They'll be compatible with SO?
yes, sir. And so we've actually, in ordering our desk, the court has been gracious enough to provide us with office furniture each year to replace some of our desks. I actually did an assessment about a month ago, and so we could forego getting new desks in the next budget year, which could reduce our furniture and equipment line by $14,800.
Okay, good.
And then Chip is also looking at our supply line item. Again, the court has been gracious to provide us with that, as well as supplies for a community service crew on Fridays, so that maintenance does not have to empty trash and clean the building and so forth. And so the court has graciously provided us with monies to supply that. And Chip has advised we can reduce that amount as well for next budget year.
Any questions about that? Okay,
No, not at all.
Thank you, Herlinda.
thank you so much.
Thank you again. We appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, thanks.
Where were the line items on SO on their radios? They wanted their
So it's in capital outlay in Department 7920.
7120,
7920. Yes, sir.
7920. I was curious to see.
So because it's considered a group asset purchase, it's considered capital, so that's why that's separate.
79.
It's on that list.
There we go.
Very top line. Public safety.
And there's our portables. But it doesn't say how many did they ask for? You remember how many they asked for?
9.
They asked for 9 portables, and
Yes,
they
sir.
were 55,000. They're asking for 9 portables that are compatible with SO, and they're 26.
Oh, for the SO, I'm sorry, I don't have that one in front of me.
One of them was 6, but I don't remember which one, and then I don't.
I think it was but they're very different, all different types, which is why there's different prices, of course. And
Well, I was
of course,
wondering,
can't
they
speak
said
to
they were going to
that.
be compatible with SO, and so I just assumed they're going to be the same radios.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And they're asking for,
Testing.
they're only asking for 26,000 for 9, and I was just curious what the difference was between the 26 and the 55. How many, maybe they're asking for twice as many, you know.
And we'll get an answer to your question.
And they're gonna, what did they reduce, supplies and what?
She reduced her furniture and equipment. We just went ahead and made that adjustment.
Okay.
She said too that they possibly could do supplies, but didn't give a number, but we'll get that.
I noticed supplies, they would, say they were only scheduled to use
Yes.
on your, yeah. And they were only 1,000 under, but they were a good 3,500 under what you project, so.
Yes.
That's an adjustment, it could be more, yeah.
Next, and I think I already saw him on, we have Judge Lee with us, JP2. And Judge Lee, if you're on, we were gonna cover his personnel request.
I need a bigger binder. It keeps coming apart on me because I put so much stuff in it.
I'm trying to, it won't let me, for some reason.
We hear you, Judge.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I guess I'm waiting on IT to let me in. Won't let, so I can see y'all. I apologize, you can't see me.
Yeah, IT. Who has to let him in?
Well, he's in, it looks like he might just have like the slide on his camera.
Yeah, the slide on.
That's what it is.
No, I have that, the slides off. Let me just try to log out and log back in. We've been having some issues with Zoom on my end, so it may be the same thing. So I apologize, gentlemen. Let me just log out and log back in, and then we'll try that way.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, and I'll just, what I know on here that previously did not have a budget for part-time, but he's requesting 19,500 to accommodate part-time. And I should have said this earlier, but of course Anna's with us, so any of these personnel requests, she can provide additional information as well. It's good because the judge was getting this thing fixed anyway.
I come to you this lecture, Absolutely.
There he is.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Can y'all see me and hear me?
We do now.
Sir, afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. I know you guys have a busy schedule. I appreciate you for allowing me to come before you, because we're all busy, right?
Right.
I assume you're here in regards to my part-time. Well, I'm here because of my part-time request, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've been talking to Anna over the last couple of months in regards to my court, and she and I agree that I have seen an increase in cases, for the last couple of years. I've been having that dollar placeholder there, and last year I put a request in and I withdrew it. And this year, I'm putting it in again. When it comes to data, I know you all like to look at data. And OCA, if anyone knows about OCA is out of compliance. You're not going to get accurate numbers. Most judges that come before you, they're going to say, hey, OCA says this, but this is what reality says. And that was one thing that I had asked of the IT director whenever we did migrate over to the new system. Are we going to have accurate reports that will show the work that is performed by our court clerks? And that's something that in the reports they said that it is possible for that to happen. And so I'm not going to have the data to support my case for a new clerk. I'm just going to come to you with honest reality. When it comes to the Justice Court Precinct 2, I have 2 clerks, the only court that has 2 clerks. When one's out or one gets sick, one takes time off, I have 1. And with the traffic coming in and out, people calling and asking questions or even making payments, because we try our best to we try our best not to go to that route of issuing warrants. Justice courts, our job is to get people to comply, not to put in jail. And that in turn reduces the amount of notices to appear that we get. And the notice to appear is when someone is arrested on a Class C warrant. They get booked in overnight, they get to, get a hot cot and so forth, and then they get released and they get a notice to appear before a judge. My numbers have been reduced to, little to none. And that's because we try our best to put people on payment plans and community service and so forth. And so there are going to be lots of traffic coming in, lots of calls being made, and lots of payments being made on a monthly basis to satisfy those judgments. And on top of that, we have the civil filings with regards to our court, evictions, death claims, small claims. All of these have multiple multipliers, as you would, as you're so accustomed to seeing when it comes to cases. And we're not going to have. I'm not going to come to you with a projection. I want to come to you with facts, and I don't have facts about what we actually do. No one has. And if they come to you with saying that they do, they're lying. No one has facts. We're not going to have facts until we get accurate reports to show exactly what we do. So I'm just going to you. I'm coming to you based on reality. Once people come in, if we have cases going on, or if a clerk wants to take off, I'm down to 1. And with that 1, everything pretty much stops. Even with 2, everything pretty much stops whenever phone calls are made or whenever traffic comes in. That's just the reality. And so I have a lot of cases that are pending. And I wish I could tell you exactly what my caseload would look like if all of those cases were filed, but I can't because they're sitting there in the office waiting to be filed. And so I'm hoping that you all consider my part-time request so that we could go ahead and get these cases filed. We had to stop accepting e-file cases for that simple fact. We just couldn't keep up. There were some issues that I'm working with IT on because I don't want to get too deep into it. There's some issues with the Tyler system and getting them done within a certain time frame that we ran into. And I'm working with them on getting that issue resolved, and hopefully I'll get a resolution pretty soon on that. But as it stands right now, no new cases are being filed electronically. Everything is being filed manually due to those issues that we ran into. And so I'm here for any questions with regards to my request. And again, I don't have any factual data because OCA, it's not accurate at all.
Okay, any questions or comments?
So the amount of ask is what, 19,000? Is that what was up there?
Correct.
That would be how many hours? Based on
I believe it's about 20 hours per week.
20 hours a week? Okay. Look it up.
And Judge, does it sound about right to you, 20 hours a week?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
No, sir.
All right, appreciate your time.
Thank y'all.
So that concludes the ones we had coming in today. So of course, when we went through some of these departments originally last week, there were some I touched on and you all said, hey, if you can bring your budget down to last year or decrease it, if not, have them come in and speak. And so that's where we heard from some of them today. But now I would just like to start checking off departments so that we can have some consensus there. It's not a final decision by any means, so that we can move into our broader topics tomorrow, if you're
Okay.
good
Yeah.
on time still.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to help follow along, I have them listed there, the ones that we need to cover on the bottom of that sheet that I passed out.
Bottom of the sheet you passed out.
Yes, sir, the schedule, like kind of the schedule, agenda, whatever you want to call it.
I'm gonna see what I did with it.
And so these, we are just looking at the operating lines.
This one right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so first, I'm just gonna start with Department 10. This is Commissioner's Court. This department had a decrease in operating, but I just always want to point out, if it's something I think just is worth pointing out, software did go up, and that was because of the new software called Wowza Streaming. Okay.
I just need to get a breakout.
Okay.
We use that in Commissioner's Court?
So that's something a little new, and John may want to, if you have questions, I know he can answer on that, but
Hadn't heard of that one.
it is new.
We're using that right now?
Wowza.
I don't know.
John, are we using Wowza?
So we have,
Stream our meetings?
yes, sir.
No, but that's what we need to use to fix it.
Why?
And
Well, we have to have Timothy here to answer that question accurately.
And I know he's gonna give you some info, but on the budget for this, we have it plugged in here. Some of this it's also related to elections. Until we have that breakdown, it's hard to know where the budget needs to be placed, but it's here in the budget for sure. So, I just.
But it has partially to do with the fact that Wowza uses, it's a cloud-based system. Currently, we're doing everything on-premise. And those, so for an election, as soon as they open it for early voting, we have to turn on those cameras down in the basement there.
Right,
where
yeah,
elections
all those.
And you have to keep all that, and that's a lot of data. It runs 24/7 for about 2 weeks every time. And we have to have that data available in case anyone ever requests it. And so putting it into the cloud will save us a lot of that kind of thing. The servers are very old. We need to replace those if we keep it on premise. So that's what all of this is about, is saving us from buying a lot of hardware and capital items.
So that's $11,000 worth of difference? No.
Roughly.
9,000. About $9,000 worth of difference.
And
And that's out of Commissioners Court funding or
So-
elections?
So the cost of this is related to Commissioners Court? Some of it, as well as elections. We just don't have a breakdown yet, so we placed it somewhere. We'll move it later once we get that
But
breakdown.
that's the total cost of it for both?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, this would be.
$8,000,
Sorry.
Okay. That's for us and elections, 8,000.
8,100.
And this department, one change here is that you'll see other services and charges has gone down to almost not anything, and that is because of the sign language interpretation that we had here consistently. So that's dropped there.
with
So
that. Have we heard any complaints on that? Anybody?
What?
From the sign language deal? Dustin, have you heard anything?
No, sir, have not.
So we'll carry on the way we're doing it.
So again, decrease there overall in that department, but just wanted to, since that was something new added in.
So we had a decrease about $8,000.
Yes.
Even with the addition. Okay.
And as we go through these, you just tell me if you have any concerns or have further questions. If not, I'm just kind of taking that as we're good to move on. Okay. Department 20, this is County Judge. So this
Francis,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Francis, I'm happy to step through those, or
Yes,
if you
that'd be
want
great.
to, that's fine.
No, Dustin, please.
So, okay, so supplies, we have a $1,500 increase here. We just recently purchased about $1,400 worth of toner. So that will increase our projection for the year. And then just as costs increase, then also with the new judge coming in, thinking about business cards, envelopes, stamps needed for court papers and those things, that's what's behind that increase. Also in the next line on furniture and equipment, moving it from $500 up to $10,000, just trying to give new judge some opportunity to update the furniture in judge's office. Moving down, we reduced professional services from 6,500 to 1,000. That's historically been a line, I think, that's for investigation for the guardianship services. So it is not utilized very often. Moving down to travel, we did have a $500 increase here. This is primarily just to account for increased trips to Austin. I know Judge went to Austin quite a bit during last legislative session and just preparing for that again as well. And also bumped professional development up $1,500. That's with the new county judge coming on as well for trainings, then also for travel like the DC trip and those associated trips. And then guardianship services, I think this is the one where there was a special revenue fund that had been used and that was going away. And so that's what this increase of $5,000 is from.
And then to add to those increases, there was a decrease in your part-time line. So y'all made some accommodation there as well. Any thoughts or further questions, needs there?
Questions or comments? All right.
Department 0110, this is maintenance of buildings. So we had TJ with us, I think that was yesterday. And so, of course, he walked through all of these lines and gave a lot more detail. But I just want to, of course, come back here so we can get some consensus on what we want this budget to look like. The item that we have highlighted in orange, specifically, I'll just start there. So that item was for his planned maintenance projects. And so it included 2 elevators. So he mentioned there were 4 elevators, and he had included nearly $100,000 for the records and the annex elevators. He mentioned, maybe cutting that down to 1. And then the other piece was the jail sewer modifications, and that if you wanted to hold off on that. So we wanted to get your feel there and see how you felt about decreasing that line for either.
All the elevators didn't quite that was 2. So there's 4 that need to be serviced, and so.
He had 2 budgeted for.
Yeah, okay.
And so he said he would just do
Remember, he
one.
was.
I thought he budgeted for all 4, and then we talked about cutting it down to 2.
And he was agreeable with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 1 at each spot. So for 2 total.
Yeah.
So how much does that 415, is that for 4 or is that just for 2?
Well, that includes the jail sewer modifications also too. So,
Commissioner Jones.
is that right?
Do you mind just scrolling over? I can't pull the comment while you're on there. I can't get it to show. I wanted to move to. On this little, it just brings up your name.
But TJ's up there, he can tell us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so commissioners, that cost was for 2 units. So if we pull one of those units out, it'll be that 96.
What's the other?
So what makes up the 415 is the, 2 elevators, almost $200,000 for 2 elevators, $120,000 for the sewer modifications at the jail, and then $65,000 for the roof on the 25th Street building.
I would support going down to 1 elevator.
And then is the sewer a must?
It's pretty bad. The pump is the problem. If we don't do something with that, what's it called?
The grinder.
The grinder pump.
Then it's gonna stop the pump up and it's gonna burn the pump up.
Which is the Waco's.
Which belongs to Waco, and they're asking us to do something.
Yeah.
I thought we had determined that the roof at over 25th Street wasn't in bad shape right now. From the rains that we had today, did you hear, TJ, did we have any?
No active leaks that we're aware of today.
I'd be for deferring that too then.
Yeah. Take that one out.
So 1 elevator and, grinder.
I'd leave the grinder for now. I don't know.
So right now, currently, we'll leave cost for 1 elevator and then the sewer grinder.
Sewer grinder, try to hold off on the roof.
And the other elevator. I'll start walking stairs.
I do every day.
So we've adjusted that. And so, again, he talked through his increases. Those were the things we thought we could pull down. The rest are, of course, based on trends and things that they're seeing. So unless you have any other
Anything else?
thoughts or things that you would like to, adjustments you'd like to make.
Any more
we have that
questions?
as is.
Adding the buildings and everything like that, I don't see how we can cut too much out, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion, but.
Agreed.
Okay.
Okay. Very good.
So just to be clear, I'm assuming there's consensus unless somebody says something.
I'd like to see it go back to last year's budget. I think that's.
Not do the elevator or the grinder or the roof.
Well, I mean, there was a certain amount of,
Are you talking about last year's budget for all departments and offices or just? That's what I was thinking.
but so we get in here and we get in on these lines and we don't, we're going to increase this by $180,000 or,
Well, I think when we get through with all this, whatever, this going through.
$150,000.
I think when we go through all this, Commissioner, we're gonna find out we haven't done enough, and we're gonna come back closer to what you're talking about.
Yes, we can always
To
do
be honest
that.
with you.
Departments like this, like you can see the projected, it's almost 1.9 million. It's already probably gonna be 400,000 over budget this current year, so those were things, that were weighed when we were looking at the 2027 request as well. But yes, we definitely can.
But that's so if we're just playing with numbers here, then 216, 650 is fine. That's.
Okay.
So there's a consistent, for the moment, we're
Yes.
okay with the cuts we mentioned in this.
Yeah.
But it may be, that goes to everything.
Definitely.
Maybe that we have to circle back.
I
Definitely.
think we will, and
But we
I
just
don't
need to
mind going
come-
through all of this. And
I think it's important we do because some of these items very well could be kicking the can into next year that you're gonna have to deal with it. And it could be worse, but others could, if they can wait, they can wait.
Yes, this conversation today will help us come up with this number that we say, okay, here's where we are. What do we want to do next?
Exactly.
That's what that's what we need to do this to.
We've talked about, I'm just gonna reinforce again, I'm watching YouTube, because this is a budget you guys you're gonna be around for the whole part of it. And so, when we're looking for consensus, I'm watching YouTube and.
Well, I appreciate that, but I certainly respect y'all's input too.
Well, I'll give you my input, but I'm gonna look for you guys.
Well,
with your
I know where the
consensus.
commissioner's coming from. We'll do this, go through item by item, and I'm curious to see what's gonna be the bottom line on expenses versus projected revenue, and see how out of whack we are. Okay.
So next, Department 0130, engineer, again, one we went over yesterday. Did I say the department? 0130. There's a decrease here. We did move, like I talked about yesterday, that cash match out to the MPO line. But she still had a slight increase in her department in total. But again, just coming back because we hadn't come back to that after she discussed, so. If you see anything else that alarms you, let me know.
Yeah, I have a hard time quibbling with somebody who's reduced their budget, unless there's just something that's glaring.
Okay. Next, let's go to Department 0210. This is the district attorney.
Wait a minute.
Fresh on our minds, he just spoke on that earlier.
We're not going down through our list right here?
Did I skip something? Yes, I did. Sorry.
We're purchasing now, aren't we?
Yes.
0550?
I'm not sure. Oh, because I didn't list it here, that's why. Yes, let's go, let's do DA real quick.
DA?
I need to go back up, yes, sir.
Where is it?
So Department 0210,
02.
the ones that are on the top are.
Oh, up the top. No.
Sorry.
Okay.
Not to make that confusing. So this was a pretty substantial increase for this department. There was $120,000 here, very specifically tied to a death penalty case and the increased cost there. So I know, when we talked through it, you wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that those costs are possible, but hard to predict. So it's something, if you want to place those extra funds or make sure that you know that in contingencies, having funds available for those costs when they incur is one way we could do that and pull them down here. But again, just something that is difficult to know what those may be and when.
Yeah, I don't argue that we've got to have, if it's going to be a death penalty case coming up, we've got to show the funds somewhere.
Yes.
I don't know that it really matters.
I would be more inclined to put a dollar placeholder there. That's just my opinion.
And so I think then, we do have contingencies, so it is something that, keeping in our minds that that is there and we would need to maybe move there if needed, so.
I can live with that. I'm
Okay.
not a big fan of dollar placeholders, but I can live with it. Seem like they.
This
come
is
back-
the $1 placeholder that I would. If it's got
And keeping-
6 X's by it, then.
And keeping a line specific like this separated, usually you would see these costs in different lines, but having them together, if there's a grant, a lot of times we get a lot of open records requests for things like this too. How much is this costing? So this is an easy way to pull it onto one place, not have it spread out, and pull it quickly if needed, so. And then,
Because I promise you, that thing's gonna go on for a long time.
And you don't know when it's gonna start, because you know how they can push these things.
Right,
down.
yeah,
Rather
I mean,
discovery and-
he's in a lot better, he's in a lot better circumstance here than he is if he,
So right now,
if he
you're about
goes away.
$170,000 total, higher.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that correct?
About 134,000 now. But the line Haley has highlighted, there was an increase there also just related to the death penalty case. So I would say if that's the take, we'll go here, go ahead and move that down to 70,000 as well.
But this is, this is outside of his, capital outlet request, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir. So the other larger increases that he discussed, one was the furniture and equipment, and he mentioned, you know, increased technology purchases for a more paperless type system.
Why would you need more furniture and equipment for,
So he mentioned having,
I guess, more computers?
yes, like having laptops.
Oh, laptops for the defense. They can't bring their own laptop?
That I do not know.
I guess IT would probably flip out if they did.
Oh, she
You know
said
what I
to
mean?
connect to Tyler.
Yeah.
So to connect to Tyler, they would have to be, like, have a network connection. Okay.
I mean, is there a portal on Tyler? Is there a defense attorney's portal on Tyler?
Sorry, I didn't quite understand what you were talking about. Yes, so there is a defense, I forgot what it's called exactly, but yes, there's a website for defense for the lawyers to come and access it. There's also justice case access.
Uh-huh.
But do they, but the commissioner's question is, can they connect their own laptops to that, or do we have to furnish the laptop for them to be able
Yeah,
to do
that's
it?
the question.
So currently, the way they do it, the district clerk has, I believe, 3 or 4 machines that they can come and sit down at and get access to. And so I believe this is what they're doing, is providing them with the equivalent access in the DAs.
So the question is then, is the new technology such that they could do that remotely or bring their own laptop up here?
So let me first state, I'm not familiar with this request. We haven't talked to them about it, so I don't know exactly what they're after here. But yes, it is just a website that they can access.
And it's safe, it meets security, it meets our security requirements and everything like that.
Yes, as far as I
But
know.
they can't go any further, they can't go any further than
Correct.
guest Wi-Fi and
then access.
and access to that portal.
Correct.
And they could use their own laptop to do that? Yes or
And
no?
we haven't talked to them specifically about this, so I can't say exactly what they're after here, but yes, that defendant case access, because they will get an account just like they currently do, and then they can access that. Again, I don't know exactly why they're asking for these, whether it's for actual defendants maybe to come in, I couldn't tell you.
Is this something we just want to hold at last year's number until there's been further discussion on that?
Yeah, I think.
Because he kind of acted like that was a
Questions are
goal,
answered.
but
Well, we've got to cut, we've got to make some cuts.
Yes, please.
I just thought it sounded like there's a lot more work that needs to be done to get there, so.
All right.
I'm
not trying to push.
We'll hash this out.
Repair and maintenance is,
Okay, so we'll bring that one down to the current year. So the other large increase was in software, and that's where he mentioned that Axon contract, and, I don't,
What do you do?
Yeah, what do you?
I know when we met with him for budget, he was, very concerned that had gone up so much, and there's
Yeah,
just not a
he
whole
was-
lot.
he-
They really vetted that number.
he tried to negotiate with them, and that's what happens when you have almost a proprietary product, they laugh at you. But that's a huge increase in 1 year. Now, he said they did have a payout plan. I remember him saying that, but they'll charge you interest on it. All right, we may have to circle back here. Put a asterisk, we may have to circle back, okay?
So that brings that department down to about a $99,000 increase there, and now in operating, and,
No, it's 101.
oh, sorry.
Big difference.
Oh, the repair and maintenance.
315 to 414. 415 be 99, wouldn't it?
Oh, am I wrong on my math? I'm sorry.
So the other was that repair and maintenance, and I think Commissioner Smith, you just brought that up, and that one was, that was increased repair, sorry. That was increased repair for the older vehicles that they have, that was recommended by maintenance of equipment. So I know they have the new vehicle request, and then this for the current vehicle they have, so,
They're online to spend 8,000, you estimate they'll spend 8,565. Is that what you're saying?
yes.
I'd say put 9,000 there and knock 2,000 off.
That'd be good.
Travel, I understand that. Okay. We may have to circle back, but I'd say no. Anything else?
Yeah, so then, just getting back that Axon, and that's something, you could have some further discussions. I just don't know if there's a lot there to.
Well, we can talk about it all day long.
Yes, sir.
We're not gonna be able to talk it down as long as we use it.
So the DA. Okay. Next, Department 0550 is purchasing. This is when they had a slight increase in their budget. But we had reached out and asked departments after you made the comment last week, could you please bring your budget down to last year's numbers? And they did so. They did cut from professional development, and so we'll see that in the next department too. And so their plan was to have their staff get further training, especially on the Tyler system, because so much of their work is intertwined into the Tyler financial system, and so to keep efficient and learn what is new in that program. So they cut that there and accommodated your request. So we were very appreciative of that. Department 0580 is our county treasurer, and also the same. We relayed your request to bring that down to prior levels, and they did that and brought that down below last year, and again, made that cut there in professional development.
And you've pretty well all with these departments already, if it appears that their end of year spending is not going to equal what they asked for in the beginning of the year, you've already counseled with them about reducing those numbers somewhat, haven't you?
Yes,
Okay.
we look at the trends over a 5-year period and, recommend something and work with them. Sometimes they just have a reasoning that it is going to increase because of X, Y, and Z. But yes, we.
Really? Is this them right here?
So this is, sorry, this is county treasurer? Yes.
This number.
So county treasurer also brought their budget down below last year's budget.
And that's right here.
Yes, sir. And again, cut professional development.
775.
Yes.
Hang on, I'm looking. Other services, they cut way down. Okay.
Next, IT, records management. Do you want to come back? Are you ready? Do you want to come back to your department? So, John, we of course talked through his budget last week, maybe. And so Department 0630 first. And so that, of course, being our IT. And there is a decrease in that department in total. But I think we need to maybe touch on IT assessments and the adjustment you made to that.
Yes.
Okay.
There are a couple of lines.
One sec, we're getting
Okay.
set up.
Yes, so we had talked about this and we wanted to lower the amount for IT assessments. So what we did is we looked at everything that was 6+ years old And there's a reason for that. At 6+ years, we can't upgrade them to the newest version of Windows, so they'd become more insecure if we kept them any longer. And so what we did, that number you see up there to the right that's highlighted, $140,013.67. That's what we could bring it down to from the original, I believe, was about $237,000. So we took about $100,000 off. The one thing we had to add back in there were we needed 10 scanners over at the jail for the Tyler program. And that's 10. Because they're doing booking and in the classification area, there's several different areas these are going into.
How much are 10 scanners?
They're average, there's two different models. One model's a little over 1,000, the other's 1,600. I think it averages somewhere in the neighborhood. We're probably talking about $12,000 or so total for the 10 scanners.
Now,
They're
is
high-speed scanners and such.
this in addition to the copiers?
Has nothing to do with the copiers. These are merely scanners that plug into the machines and are used for Tyler. So what they're doing over there is they're trying to get away from all the paper, and they'll be scanning all these documents into Tyler so that we can get rid of a lot of the paper over there.
But it takes 10 scanners to do that?
Yes, these are different areas, so I'm not sure exactly the numbers, but I want to say 2 in booking, 2 in classification. They've got a few others around there. Because they're doing all kinds of things like the property room, you know, where they're checking people's stuff in. There's a lot of different activities over there. But I can get you a full breakdown of where they need them.
Okay. What else, John?
But in summary, so for IT assessments, you brought that down to 105,700. Oh, in the scanners, sorry.
Yeah, so the total was that number out to the right. It'd be closer to
I follow. No.
140,000.
140. Yes, sir.
And so,
Sorry, that's not for general fund, that's correct.
so this general fund will be plus the scanners.
So the general fund will be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 117,000 total. For IT assessments, sorry.
Oh, the 105 plus the scanners.
Plus the 34.
Plus the scanners, right. Those 10 scanners are approximately 12, 13.
100.
You have a number?
So then what are our bottom line totals this year versus last year on those the items you're talking about, Francis?
Say that again, Commissioner.
Last year's total.
Oh, last year IT assessments were 234,000.
And what did you say they're this year?
So this year, we're in a,
105?
so 100 and, it's not 140.
105 plus the 10 scanners, so it's approximately 117,000-ish.
117 plus?
18 maybe.
Okay, okay.
34 wasn't the
Okay.
scanners.
Sorry.
The 34,000 that you put in.
No, that's not the scanners.
Okay.
Ignore that number.
Okay.
That number was the original minus this. It's a long story. That's not accurate anymore. Sorry.
But this is the breakout of how it will go.
Correct. So for the general fund, you're approximately 118,000.
So was there anything else you needed to touch on, like as far as
Yes, a few line
adjustments?
items. So if you remember, we went through, when we went through my budget, and you see that doc access line there, that was an implementation fee to implement document access, which was the whole thing about going through the PDFs on the website and having ADA accommodation. And as you know, we were
90% up.
we were looking at not doing that. It turns out once we looked through our documents to make sure that was the case after that, it turns out we do need to do that because it's a mandated thing by the Department of Justice. There's a judgment, I guess, we agreed to, and now we have to finish that off, if you will, by making sure our website is up to date and making sure that those documents are accessible by those that have issues seeing things. So what that adds with it is the 53,929 figure in the software as well.
Okay.
afraid
So where do
that's
you have it?
a non-negotiable, so. Then, if you remember, just below that line there, 100,000, just wanted to note that we had added that request in there to have that as consulting fee and then not ask for the network administrator position that we were asking for as a one-time charge for this. And then there are two more figures that we just needed to correct. If you scroll down just a little there. Originally, when I went through this, somehow when we transmitted over, these two numbers did not come over, so I missed them. But this FortiGate, the ASA and firewalls, and the Extreme networks right below it, that 40,000 and the 90,000, those are actually just the renewal costs for the support contract. So we do need to put those back into the number that we're requesting, which raises that number a bit. But still, overall, I believe we're still at about, we're down about 6.6% overall from last year's budget. So, and that was the only correction as far as I know. Oh, sorry, down, and that's a software number that we just talked about for the document fixes.
Software's gonna kill us.
It's tough. Now, our overall software number is still down, which is good.
So then back to just your department budget and how those fit in. So we'll update IT assessments then up to that 118,000. And then we will add in for repair and maintenance.
But yes, we need to add that 130,000 total in back in. And then, sorry, there was one other item down in the capital requests we had gone through. We had asked for a few things here, but you see the one highlighted that says pretrial services. That was 15,000. Now that's for there was another county that had a judgment against them because they were not showing their magistration. They did not have access to the magistration publicly. So this was, everyone knows this is coming, but there, as of yet, there's been no mandate and there's been no direction on exactly how you need to do it. So we had put money in anticipating that, but that has not occurred yet. So knowing that that hasn't occurred and we're not yet mandated to do it, we could pull this out of our budget, remove the request. However, this would be part of, you all have had discussions about redoing the whole booking area over there with maintenance and with the SO. This could actually be just rolled into that as a part of that redoing because that's where they'll be doing things.
Okay.
So we could just
Pull
take
that
this
one.
out for now, figure it out, and then come back to it if there is a mandate that comes out or judgment or whatever. That's, I think, all I needed to discuss.
Okay.
Where's the bottom line then on IT?
It's one set.
Okay?
Yeah. Did you be adding that one for to repair and maintenance? 90 and 40. 500. It's just a rough 118, he said. We'll get more exact. I think that was it. It's good. Okay. So we made those adjustments. I know we'll get a more exact on the IT assessments there, but there you'll see that bottom line of operating of the 3.7 million compared to almost 4 million the prior year.
Okay, so your bottom line is 609, 740?
No, that's with personnel. So we were just looking at the operating currently. Okay. So anything else there that we need to
Not right now.
cover on? Okay.
All depends on how it comes out, how it shakes out at this last.
So then in Department 0640, that was records management. And so, again, went through that one. This was the one where that special revenue fund has completely been diminished at this point in time. And so we moved the operating cost over to general fund. He originally had the electronic, the digital conversion
Yes,
of the DA
scanning
files
all
on
the
there
DA
for a certain number of years. And then per your request, when we met with him, he moved that down to just doing 1 year of that type of work. So
Is that where
that's in repair and maintenance, I believe.
repair and maintenance is moving that over? That's 1 year's worth right there, 25,550.
Yeah, so if you remember originally, we had proposed 14 years to clear the entire
Yeah.
backlog at
Right.
once, but this is 1 year.
It was 34,000.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, that would have, yeah, we just left 1 year and we've done some balancing out to clean out that fund, but we have that loaded in. Don't worry, we have it in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But this is just one, there is an increase in this budget because we have not had to accommodate it in general fund up to this point, so
Professional services though, right? Correct, okay. Yes.
we'll get it done.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, thank you, John.
Sorry, just to correct that, I believe it's 34,000, right? Yes,
Um,
thank you.
So next, I'll just cover these three, 1420, 1430, 1460. Those are three district courts. So 54th, District Court Judge Kelly, they lowered their request to meet last year's budget. And so they made that accommodation per your request. And then 74th and 474th, they just had $500 increases for the state judicial assessment, and we just made accommodations within their budget so that was flush as well, so.
By just moving around from
Yes, sir.
one line to the other.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I would say this, and not just because we got what's pulled up right there, but if we get down to the bottom line and it's not where it needs to be, we need to be prepared to pull out all furniture and equipment request and see what happens if we do it. Somewhere we gotta come up, we're pulling out, and we have to do it, don't get me wrong. I know the pennies add up to, and everything else, but we're needing millions of dollars, it looks like to me, when we're fooling, not fooling, but we're having to juggle a few dollars here and a few dollars there.
And on the furniture piece of that, I totally agree with you because, I've been here 16 years and I've got the same furniture.
I do too. Well, I haven't been there but it was here.
Yeah, and
for
it was
16
here,
years before
and it was
me.
here before me. And so I think sometimes we do get a little carried away with requests for furniture.
Yeah.
I agree.
I won't argue that.
Who's next?
Okay, Department 1612, 1612, this is Judge Durham.
This is what?
Judge Durham, who was here with us earlier. So he had some requests, of course, based on, coming into office new, doing things a little bit differently, and so how he saw those changes affecting his budget. I think some of those increases,
But now,
we could look at,
okay, line F is your projections
yes, sir.
for the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's your projection right there.
So, just, he said, in the way they do things and increases here and there, that would increase their costs. I think, this is completely your call, but especially someone that's new, we could do a budget based on trends, and then if his need does increase during the year, we could bring that back to you with the intent, that you would want to hear, do you be willing to hear from him, and see if those increases did occur. But sometimes when there's not a trend to follow, it's hard. Some of those, like you can see, there's supplies, like, yes, they are spending all of that. So that was one of the things he mentioned.
And Francis, one thing we talked about earlier that might help in this arena is we talked about trying to get everybody back to last year's budget, but also increasing the contingency.
Yes, sir.
So for instances like this, where he may go, hey, it was like I projected.
Yes.
Well,
So that's what
especially if
sometimes-
it's something that we didn't replace, decided not to replace this year that breaks down, like, let's say an elevator, we've got plenty in the contingency, then we can
Yes.
step up.
Yes. Yes.
You know, furniture and equipment, that's a lot of difference. You're projected 1,200, he wants 8,000.
So that'll be completely different request, you know, one year to the next. But I think he wanted to change out some chairs and then convert over to a larger size monitor for all of their desktops. And so that's, and John, I don't know, did you have anything you wanted to add about the monitors in that office? The curved office, the curved monitors for JP12?
Yeah, those are not standard. They had asked for those in the IT assessments, and we are not supporting that request, but.
So that's just, you know.
Answers that question.
Yes.
Okay. 6,000 over.
So taking that, and then if you want us to just, you know, we wanted him to, of course, to speak on his request. But we can look at the trends and come up with it, bring that back to you tomorrow.
That's fine.
I just, of course, want to
Come back with something.
let him speak on that first, so, okay. And then JP4, Judge Richardson. So of course, heard from him as well. He had about a $10,000 increase in his operating budget. And so again, he spoke on those needs and how they've grown and, you know, having to do budget amendments every year or ask for additional funds.
Where do you see the 10,000?
So, current year, it's 23,500, and then he's requesting 33,500.
And it's kind of, so he was going by these OCA numbers, but other judges.
Say they're not accurate.
Yeah, they're not accurate. I mean, you gotta use something.
No.
They're probably, I'm sure they're not accurate, but they're probably consistently not accurate across every JP.
So consistently inconsistent has a point to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can speak to the OCA.
Okay.
I've heard a variation of that comment from multiple judges.
Right.
But ultimately, they're the ones inputting that information and reporting it to OCA.
Yeah.
And so it is what we
So
rely on.
when they say the numbers aren't right, they know because they didn't put the numbers in there.
They didn't put them in.
Yeah, I know it, yeah. Well.
So again, this is
on
one.
Judge Richardson, what's the thoughts there? And the 10,000 was, remind me again exactly.
So it was spread out among most of the lines. And so, you know, some of them, when you look at the trends, you can see like, yes, they needed
Right.
that. But we could go through that one again as well,
I mean,
since you've heard from him.
Your trend on supplies is showing 5,000 on the trend, and he's asked for 8. I mean, go through it and look at trends and come up with it, same way you did the other one, okay?
Yes. Yeah, and this is where, you know, a lot of times on these, if they haven't specifically asked for a budget amendment, we're gonna project what their max budget is. There's just,
So is that how that works? Y'all only project the max
it
budget?
depends on the line. So things where we think they can hold the line, like supplies, like if you've spent everything, a lot of times people are buying supplies too, like in bulk. So they may be only twice a year, but some lines, like when you look at like food or you look at language translation or things like that, we're gonna project out for a full 12 months. And so you'll see a lot of times where the projection does exceed the budget. So
But speaking of language translation, that was one of his requests, I guess.
Well, your projection is $500, he's asked for 3,000.
Yeah.
yes, there's a special revenue fund too, so we kind of have to weigh it each year and see how much is available. But again, that's one we can look at.
Okay, so you can look at those numbers
We
versus
can,
the trend.
yes, for sure.
Okay.
And we'll bring back that recommendation to you.
Okay.
These two. Okay, and then last JP to talk about was JP 5, so Department 1651. And Judge Mira Montez was with us last week. And so the increase in her budget was that she spoke on was the increase in furniture and equipment, and that was for furniture, shelves, and a table for the new area in their office. And so that was, I think, a $16,000 request in that line. And so just seeing what you thought about that request.
Needs to go back to last year's.
Do what?
Needs to go back to last year's amount.
What, which would be 5,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't we've got a new office over there, correct?
Yeah, we added that.
Yeah.
That's why I thought there was a reason why there's additional.
Yeah, that's why I'd hate to do too much here, and the new person comes in and is not happy with, I mean, it's just in that kind of that period of time where I agree with you guys, last year, and if the new JP comes in and says, hey, I need this and this, you might be willing to hear it, but I would stay with last year's one.
Well, furniture and equipment, they've got, if you went to last year, they'd still have $5,000 to spend, right?
And they've
Yes.
only spent 1,000 so far this year.
So they could spend up before the end of this year, and then they'd have 5,000 next year.
Yes, definitely.
Right, right.
Yeah, use the rest of that to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, that.
And then spend, yeah. That would give them their 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll bring that one down.
Other services and charges, they're showing 5235. You projected them to spend 3399. Can you go to 4,000 there? Just, I know we're nitpicking now, but it's not gonna be spent.
We would have to dig into that line. That's,
See why?
you have to look at, you have to look at history and you have to see what's in that line, and
Okay,
so we can definitely look at it for sure, but.
that's fine. Everything else looks pretty good to me.
Okay.
Should they increase supplies by $1,000?
Oh, yes, didn't see that one. So that's one that with sometimes departments will, say sometimes, they should, always give us some input on their projections also. So if they have plans that we can't see in trends, and so sometimes we marry all this together, but like you can see there, they would already need a budget amendment or need a budget
Checked it
amendment.
over right now.
So that was one that was trend-based. But again,
Judge, can I
Adam,
take a break for a second?
Yeah.
And, or just me, I just need to run the restroom, but.
I do too.
If y'all could take 18 million off while I'm gone.
Anything?
18 million.
We're good on this one?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right, take a 5-minute break.
I would just.
Recording in progress.
All right, let's call court back in session.
Okay. So we had ended there on 1651, and I know there was maybe a thought about lowering that supplies back down to make it under last year's budget. But was there any final thoughts there?
It needs to be in that last year's budget.
So let's just go ahead, we'll go ahead and move that down to 3. Okay. Okay. Going a little backwards in numbers, but we'll go to Department 1455. That is specialty courts, Judge Swanton. So their increase in their budget was that professional services line, and that was the ask today for the increase in the pay rate for the attorneys that are assisting them in those specialty courts.
What's their bottom line total? Difference.
For operating or for, like?
Total,
So
everything.
so they have a net decrease because the way their grant funding works for their personnel, you'll see personnel has dropped dramatically. But that is, the costs are just housed somewhere else for next year. We've adjusted those. So if you're looking at the operating there though, so it's about $30,000 increase.
But the total down at the bottom, 664 down to 615?
Yes.
Even with that, there's a loss of, or a decrease of 40?
Yes.
49,000?
Yes, but we were just focusing on operating because your personnel costs with grants especially will fluctuate over the years.
Well, if that increase is granted, will that come out of grants? It said their salaries are funded through grants.
Yeah, that's what.
That's already reflected there. So any grants you've approved and accepted,
Then that money will come from grants.
yes, so that's why there's a drop in their personnel budget for next year. So it's just where we house the cost. But like I said, I don't think, I wouldn't want to absorb that decrease by other increases, knowing that if that personnel goes back and increases, then your whole budget goes back up. So that's why that professional services line, it needs, a very specific decision made on it.
Well, if the total budget's down, I'm talking about total, everything, personnel, everything else, is down, and it includes that increase that's funded through grants, then move on.
Okay.
I will, and I'll say this, I've asked, and Heather says, or Haley says, who said it, Haley? You said it, that you have readily can access the amount of the positions that we have funded through grants and the total? Yes. Okay. I think that's something we've always got to be cognizant of.
Okay, so any other thoughts about the increase for the attorney rate, the increase in the attorney rate that Judge Swanton spoke on today?
Any thoughts?
You can't go out and hire an attorney for $125 an hour.
Yeah, a lot of them do it just because it's their public service, but that doesn't feed anybody. A lot of these are, young attorneys, where in ours, they're more seasoned. Ad litem's have to be pretty experienced. And
I think it's a reasonable request myself, but
it's way below what we're doing.
Given the service that we get from them.
Yeah. Anybody disagree with that?
No.
Well, does it mean we like it?
I'm all torn on it, but I understand how important it is. I'm just not understanding the line very well, because there's 26 budgeted, there's projected 18.6 spent, and they're wanting 60. And I understand the need to pay good attorneys to do the work. So.
Yeah, and still, it's, they're not gonna get rich on it, even with the increase.
Not hardly.
Okay.
And then the whole thing is down, but it could go up someday,
Yeah. That'd be your problem, I'll be gone.
I guess so.
Okay.
Okay. Next, let's go to the next department, 1661. And this is the Office of the Death Investigator. This one, of course, is an increase over last year because it was added mid-year. Right now, we just have that part-time pay line that was estimated during that budget discussion that you approved and based on how many hours and the rate of pay, and then the benefits and taxes associated with it. Right now, we just have placeholders in there for operating. We don't really have a request there, but I know as that office continues to keep moving, they may have some requests there. We don't have anything at this time,
Right.
so. Okay,
So that's basically the salary plus what we have to pay
yes,
based on the salary.
yes. Part-time participates in retirement, but not life or health insurance.
Yeah.
And that's 20 hours a week times 52 weeks.
Part-time office.
Okay.
All right. Our sheriff's office departments. So a big group of those departments, I'll just start with 0120, which is our maintenance of equipment. And so they went through these, of course, yesterday. But just get your feeling there. I know they will be back with us in the morning, so if there's something, and I'm assuming that David is probably on, maybe Katie as well, so if there's something else you're needing from them, to let us know or let them know so that they could come and have additional info if needed. But here's one, this is maintenance of equipment, falls under the sheriff's office.
What was the increase that?
So they had an increase in other services and charges.
Went from 8,300.
So that was due to a towing contract
17.
that David spoke on.
$1,700 difference there. And there's only 3,500 difference total, right?
Yes.
What was
So
the 5,000 increase there for? The radio tower? Do we know that's a firm number? I mean, or is that just an estimate based on what?
I can walk through each of these if you want me to. Again, they did, like you said, they had about a $3,500 increase in total in operating. So they made there is some decreases and there's a couple slight increases. But the larger two increases in this department were the radio tower. This was a recommendation that we made to them to increase that to 80,000. We have surpassed that year after year, and those are costs that are needed to maintain the towers and have work made on the towers.
Okay.
So we feel like if you don't increase that budget, we're gonna have a budget amendment mid-year. And then they added funds into professional development. But if you remember, David spoke that they had altogether, their professional development, they had just spread it out in different ways among their departments. So, because it's a big, they're each individual, but of course, when you bring all the departments together, that might be easier to see.
Yeah.
But I just want to see if you had any other thoughts here or anything before we go ahead and move on from that one.
Any thoughts? Just move on.
Okay. And so then next in their group is Department 2200, which is the sheriff's office. So, there's increases in personnel on this, of course, just because of the nature of the step pay plan. And then longevity as well there. And so those are things that, of course, you've already adopted the policy for those. And those are amounts that were approved at an earlier time. In their operating, we have an increase of almost 134,000. And so we have those lines highlighted there that increased. Again, I know he talked through these, but if there's anything further that you need, or any requests that you want to make of them, to make any adjustments, let us know.
Laptops, monitors, cameras, ladder, hand truck.
You know, I feel like at the end of the day, there's gonna be some adjustments made, and we're gonna have to go back.
Yes, but we just need to
probably.
get, if there's some, if you want anything right now
No,
for them to change.
right now, I can't argue the, software licensing went up $100,000. John, what was that?
So,
Sorry, which department is this?
so he's asking about the software.
Sure.
Do you want, if David is available and on, do you want him to speak to that?
I am.
Gov.
John's here, that's fine. I'm here.
We just heard.
Oh, David's on?
David's right there.
Yeah, what was the 100,000 difference in software?
So the main portion of that, Commissioner, is going to be the NeoGov suite, but there's also a portion of that is the body camera, whereas the body camera used to exist within a contract that was in capital outlay, like the tasers, and that's been moved to software. So a portion of it is also that. I think the chunk for that, and Haley can correct me if I'm wrong, is somewhere in the $30,000 range or so.
Okay. All right, just highlight the areas that you've got there, Francis, starting at the top.
I'm sorry?
What are they, like the very first one? Yeah, and what did you put in there as footnote?
So this was, a long list of things that they had covered. So, technology, equipment, cameras, things like ladders, hand trucks, air purifier, weapons, and then equipment like lights, as he has it listed there. It's just,
Okay.
that's vague there, not a monetary detail, but that's what makes up that line item.
Go down to the next one.
So the increase in other services and charges were for some graphics that they need for their training room.
The next one's contract.
Centralized dispatch, that is a contract and it's contractually set to increase, so. Travel reimbursement, so that's one we've already had to increase, and based on trends, the $8,000 seems to be what is needed there.
Oil and gas increase.
Based on what's going to be
So
spent.
that'll be based on the IRS mileage rate.
Yeah.
And then other costs associated with that travel, but
Right,
it's
so
something
they're
that we
taking
can.
the prior year mileage and putting the new rate on it.
Yes, sir. And then the software, I know David just spoke on that, and then professional development. I couldn't see.
And the professional development part just reminds me of something that we've mentioned before, not necessarily talking about SO, but SO does have a lot of travel, or a lot of development, professional development, is encouraging departments, all departments and all officials where possible to look at local, region, area, Zoom, anything that they can hold the cost down on that, because, we add up all of our professional development across the board. It's a pretty large number,
Oh, definitely.
definitely a large number, and anything we can do that would cut down on that. Hold training here, pay them to come here, somebody if it's a large group, as opposed to sending 10 people somewhere else. See what it would cost to have somebody come here. There's lots of ways to control that cost if we would get some help.
So if no other thoughts here?
The only other thoughts I have is I don't have anything in particular here, but I'll reiterate what I've already said. We come back to the end of the day and we're not where we need to be, we're gonna have to go back and make cuts somewhere. So people need to start thinking about that.
Yeah,
Where
they
that's
need
gonna
to think
take place.
about, it's gonna need to go back to last year's spending amount.
I'm not arguing that, if that's what it takes to get us where we gotta be. Not arguing
So
at
I was
all.
gonna go through, of course, their departments. I know you just heard from him yesterday. if right now there's nothing you want to really change on them until we see the bottom line, I can just move past the sheriff's office departments. We can just leave them as is and then come back if needed.
I mean, honestly, their request is quite dizzying. I mean, it's like a Christmas wish list, of stuff.
Well, we can, and I know, of course, David's on because he just spoke, but we can pass that on as well, that if there's anything that they can help bring those numbers down to the prior year, if possible, we'll get that back to you.
And maybe that request of anyone that's coming on.
All the way across the board, everybody, every department.
And we
every
sent that, we reached out, that's, some of those that we were presenting today.
I'd rather them do it than us. We might not do it the right way.
Well, I'm just, to make good use of your time, I'm gonna go ahead and go past the sheriff's office departments, and then
That's
I know
fine.
you've just relayed that message to them, if there's anything they can bring down closer to last year's numbers, if that's okay with y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we will. That. Okay. Department 2610, adult probation. So on the Zoom earlier with Herlinda, she already had some cuts, and I know there's maybe something else she can move down for supplies in addition to that, but definitely substantial decrease from last year.
She
So,
offered some cuts, though, that y'all have already put in here?
yes, sir.
Okay.
So just making sure. Okay. Constables, so,
Two?
Constable 1 did not have an increase in her operating. Constable 2, this was a department, of course, that we reached back out to and asked if they could get their request as close to last year. And so they did make some adjustments that they felt they could, but there were some increases that they still felt that they needed.
Who is this?
This is Constable 2, Constable Jackson.
He's the new constable, replaced Johnson.
So an increase there, a slight increase in supplies, their trend patterns are showing it, but mostly just because a lot of these increases are due to new official, some new things needed there, so. So slight increase in postage. Travel reimbursement is the line that has the largest increase. And so you'll see this in all the constables that I'm about to go through. Mileage rate increased January 1st. So of course they didn't know that when this budget was adopted. And then it actually went up 4 more cents on the July 1st.
What
So
is it,
that,
725?
it's 76 now.
Oh, really?
It just went up July 1st. So the IRS put out the bulletin yesterday, I think. I'm waiting to get the official so we can send it out to countywide. So anything effective July 1st and forward will be 76 cents. So their increase is, of course, attributable to that, but also I just think they're all reaching that budget max each year. And so increase in service that is requiring that increase as well.
This is one of those that if we come back to cut, we'll, furniture and equipment would get them almost back down to, 0.
Back to where they were.
Yeah.
And one thing on like cut furniture and equipment, I would check and be sure the equipment, furniture's pretty self-explanatory. Equipment might be a little bit, there might be a few things that would be adverse for us to cut it. But,
Hurt the county.
yeah, but they offset it with some other cut within their budget too.
But again, they did make an effort to make some cuts down to what they thought.
Right, they did.
Excuse me. And an increase there in professional development. Their note was 4 deputies to send, but they also have their new constable that needs some training as well. So different.
While we're on, David, are you still on?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Can you follow through and find out what the difference was between the, I guess, adult probation's request for their radios that are compatible with y'all's and y'all's radios, how many y'all are requesting, see if the prices match up.
Now, I can tell you from looking at that, Commissioner, I'll follow through, but there is some disparity. I can just tell from the quantity and the price per unit, from just glancing at it, that something is different. So I don't know what they're getting, but
Can you reach out to them, find out what radio it is? They're
I
quoting?
certainly will. I'll certainly find out what the difference is between the models and get that back to you, sir.
Okay, I was just thinking about that when we were talking. Okay, thank you.
So any other thoughts on this one? Okay, Constable 3, so also requests there in travel reimbursement. There was a decrease in software, that's related to EDOC. You'll see that in lots of departments as well, that has been moved over to the Tyler line. There's a $1,200 increase to the travel reimbursement line.
You're projecting they're gonna spend about $1,400 in supplies, they've got $4,400 in there. I think that can be
So that's
something
ones
more
that,
reasonable to 3,000 or
Unless the-
2,500 or 2,000, you know.
so that's when we'll look at the past and then we will ask them to bring it down, but sometimes they have a reason to, and so that's definitely
Okay.
one that we can bring down. We can look at the trend
Give it
and
a-
we'll revisit it. Sorry. Okay, and then Constable 4, I had reached out to him about bringing down his budget, but I hadn't heard back from him, so he may have been still able to, I just haven't heard back. But you'll see their increase in supplies, and so that specifically,
I'd say the same thing. Yeah, absolutely,
the
Francis.
past years supported that just on what they've spent in past years. This year looked a little different. They did have to move money from supplies to another line. Sometimes when they do that, then they'll hold back on spending this year, but we can look at that one again as well.
We've only spent 500 on furniture and equipment. That's something else to look at. The next line looks pretty good.
Okay, so then the other increases in other services and charges.
Everything else looks pretty good.
There was an increase there in publications that are being charged there now. So you can see there that they had to amend their budget this year. So we supported that request of the $2,500. Slight increase in postage. And then again, the travel reimbursement line. So like I said, that's going to be consistent through all your constables. So I'll still wait for a response here if there's anything he wants to bring down. And then we'll look at supplies. Okay. Okay, so we'll touch back on that one. And then Constable 5. So they do have an increase in their part-time budget, which we'll talk about when we talk about personnel. But we requested them to bring their budget back down to last year's numbers, and they did so. And so they accommodated the increases they needed, like travel reimbursement, by lowering other numbers, so. Okay.
We appreciate that.
Yes, very much so. Okay. So next on the list, I had the road and bridge departments. So I know some of you have sent us like some adjustments, and some have just mentioned things. And so if we want to look at those, if y'all are ready to do that, you can let us know your thoughts there. So of course, 3610, we'll start with Road and Bridge 1. And so that budget, so that operating budget is a decrease compared to the prior year.
And you've taken out my grader, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's what brought that one down.
Okay.
So why do you add our capital outlay into our operating in these?
So we can do it different ways, but for
Yeah, I'm not,
you
I'm
all-
just wondering just for,
So for you
just
all,
for-
you're ex officio road commissioners,
Mhm.
so you actually have the ability to buy capital equipment without approval from the court. Like you can go and you can do those things without the court's buy-in. They're always, of course, in the budget and you run it by each other. But like other departments can never buy anything that exceeds $5,000 without your approval. You all can. So we keep that there and that way whoever has the authority for approval within that department, it remains with you all. So in the big capital outlay department, purchasing has that control. And they monitor those purchases and make sure that those purchases are done according to how they should be. So we do keep that separate. We can always do that differently if you'd like. It's just at one point that was what made sense, and we've let that remain since. So.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, but just
I just was really wondering more than anything.
yes, because it isn't like it's a number that's not static, like your road construction and things that you can see trends in. So.
What's an example, Commissioner, on your contingency? I think our policy allows 250. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then, so what's an example of what you spend out of that? I mean,
Well, if you went over in another budget line item. for one-
Generally,
Repairs.
repair and then fog
Equipment,
and
yeah, something that you go over,
fog and then road construction material.
yeah, lots.
Because those prices those prices can, we have contracts, but
right.
they're kind of all over the place.
Well, the
We have a
question may
contract.
come up because other departments don't have contingencies.
We could take it out and put it all in that big item, that big contingency, but we'd still have to draw from it if we have to.
Yeah.
Roads gotta be built.
Yeah.
They may build the contingencies in line by line.
The real reason the contingency's there, to be honest with you, is for an unforeseen disaster in the precinct. So you've got to go put a bridge back that you didn't, that's typically what it was intended
Yeah,
for.
a repair that wouldn't necessarily fall under capital improvement or something, but a pretty large repair.
Yeah.
Culverts that blow out, that go past what we have in there, which those culverts aren't getting any cheaper.
Okay, what's next?
So 3620, I know Commissioner Wilson is not here, but he had a decrease in his budget as well there, and you'll see it's about right over a $300,000 increase in operating. And that decrease primarily, of course, was in that capital outlay line. So they had over 800,000 in there to begin with last year, and then this year it's only 482. That was for a Peterbilt truck, a hot oil tanker, a John Deere tractor, a mini roller, and a mini roller.
Was there that much money in that? Yeah, I guess it was, to start out with. Or did it come out of the contingency and moved up into that area?
So just glancing at it, I can tell you that the increase that the original budget was 805,000 and it moved to 1,075,000. That came from contingency, just looking up those other line items. So that was moved into capital outlay.
But it came from his contingency item, his contingency line. Okay.
Okay. And when he's back, if y'all have further questions, of course, we can go back. 3630 is Road and Bridge 3. And so,
So y'all
Commissioner Jones,
remove-
I'll let you speak on it if you want.
I think there's another capital outlay, piece that we'll probably pull out of there to get down to last year's.
Okay. So you can just keep us posted and
Yeah.
we'll make that adjustment if needed. Okay, very good. Okay. Department 3640, Road and Bridge 4. And Commissioner, you had just mentioned to me in passing about something you wanted to
Motor
pull.
grader needs
Okay.
to come out.
Okay. Sorry.
And then the head count that had been requested needs to come out.
Okay. So of course, then taking the motor grader out brings that down below last year's budget request.
Then the only other thing, road construction materials, take it back down to last year.
If you run short, we can pull that out of the higher contingency, right?
Plus still have the contingency here. There's 250
Yeah.
still,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I
that,
got
and
you.
if, yeah.
And your countywide contingency, you could use for any line in any department. So if you ever had a need.
We could, we don't like to, we prefer to
Yes, but
put it out here first.
Judge
If
the,
you want to lower the, even further, you could, and you have the contingency above the road and bridge, in other words, all combined. Unless you want one that might have a project, I would guess maybe precinct 2 might have more material needs, but I don't know. He's got fewer roads, but he's got a lot more projects.
He's got some more roads now than he used to have.
Yeah.
With the new.
he's having to do
Redistrict.
pretty much total rebuilds.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have
Yeah,
to do a
'cause they
total
went so
rebuild
long.
on every route.
Yeah.
And then what we're doing by going back to 1.2 on the road and bridge materials, there's always, if you start running out towards the end of the season, you move contingency or you can go focus on drainage. There's still plenty to do out there every day.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're not running out of money and sit there and go, yeah, we're through.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we are having to travel a little more, to get to the precinct, our new,
Outer boundary?
yeah,
Yeah.
Through the river and through the woods.
around the river and,
Yeah. Yeah, right, that's the problem. That's why you need that bridge in there.
yeah.
Okay?
you good, Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am.
So Department 3650 is countywide road and bridge, of course, where we house some activity that's all encompassing of all your departments. And so this department has a slight drop due to decreasing software for cartograph.
We got a roadside cleanup in there, don't we?
Yes, and we went ahead, just estimating based on what the price is per week. We have that placed in there for next year. It was a little bit more than we had anticipated last year, so. But this is the department, if we need to buy right-of-way, it's here, and it's not associated with a specific project. And just professional services, so anything not tied to a specific project, if you're, if the engineer is helping you, you know, scope out what work needs to be done, those costs are housed here as well, so. Okay. So next on my list is Department 5450. This is Veteran Service Officer, one that had a slight increase. He brought it down to last year's budget, so.
Okay.
Thank you. Department 6730. This is Heart of Texas Fairgrounds Repair and Maintenance. So we talked about this with TJ yesterday. So this line item is very specific to fairgrounds maintenance that is not venue project. There was an additional close to 300,000 in the line for next year, specifically for parking lot maintenance. And through that discussion yesterday, I think there was some thought about cutting that parking lot maintenance in half and doing it over 2 years.
I agree.
So we can decrease that line by half of 296,000. I can't do that in my head, but. But the other 300,000 remaining there is just for the routine maintenance. And you'll see there, those projected expenditures are almost to 300 this year, just based on what we know it's coming. And it's consistently been working its way up each year, so. Okay, and then Department 7660 is AgriLife Extension. He's one I hadn't heard back from yet, but they had an increase to other services and charges for a safety buzzer system for their office.
For what?
A safety buzzer system for their office.
Safety buzzer?
Buzzer, like some sort of safety system within their office.
Kind of like the
There was a,
tax assessor, where they have.
have a break-in.
Who are they gonna buzz?
Why don't they have a door that's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have
I'll reach out and ask
specifics,
them,
but we can.
It had something to
Is
do
it a
with
keyless entry
security.
or is it?
I know at a financial institution, it goes straight to the police department, law enforcement.
I'm just trying to see if this is a keyless entry they're talking about, or is it actually in the
Yeah, I don't
law?
know.
That's a different, like the PDK systems. This is, I think this is different than that, but
This is a
we can
panic
get more info.
button? Is it a panic button? Is that what they're,
That doesn't sound right.
When he gets back to me, I'll
Yeah.
ask him.
like that?
He's out of town.
Mhm.
I saw it on Facebook, he was at some big conference.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was either, but it had, I thought it was more security related. But, you know, we've got our backup storage out there too, and concerns about getting into there and destroying things or,
That's where we put that new, camera system in.
yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, see if we can get back to you,
So,
what
for
all
sure.
is involved. It's not a lot of difference right there.
I know, but still.
Not a lot of difference.
And then the bigger increases are in travel reimbursement. So of course, that is for all of their agents that are traveling all over the state. And so I think they've been having to hold back a little bit just based on the budget restriction there. And so I think they've spoke on that many times when they've attended court and given you an update that activity is increasing. So that is mileage reimbursement there for that agent travel.
Yep.
And then an increase in professional development. And they are just seeing increased costs for professional development there with the nature of that request.
Okay.
And so we'll cover that one as well. So I know that was a lot, just kind of going through quickly, but I just wanted to make sure we touched on each department's request. So where we're at now, we've made some changes through this discussion. So,
On the Road Bridge Precinct 3,
3,
remove the roller.
Rock and roll? No. Okay.
A roller.
Is that an
Music
employee?
plays in the cab while
The
they're.
FTE?
Yeah.
Okay.
so with that one too, and we've made quite a bit of changes, so we'll pull those all together, and then, we'll have like that new expenditure number to look at. There are still some pieces of the general fund that of course we need to come back to. So those being outside entities, we've gone through some lines like in the countywide department, a lot of those, were trend-based, things like utilities and, time payout and things. And so, we can go back and, revisit those if needed. But for the most part, we have touched on everything in the general fund. my plan would be, and we can stay as long as you would like this afternoon.
We have 5 more minutes.
What else do you have?
That's your call.
You have anything, what else do you have?
So nothing today. I guess where I planned on was in the morning. I know we asked the sheriff's office to come back about their personnel presentation they wanted to make. So if we start with that, and then we need to get back into personnel so that we can wrap up personnel. You know, Anna had gone through all of the requests and her recommendations, and so bringing that all back together and seeing how we want to move forward from there.
And then we'll do capital outlay again, is correct?
Yes, so then we
There-
need to.
There's a lot of changes, I think,
Yes, so we need to go back through those. You've heard about all of them now. So we just need to go back through there and see if there's any changes you want to make or give direction to those offices. And so then outside entities we need to review.
Right.
I know those are all very heavy topics, but just,
We don't need to ask any of them to come back in, do we, or? I
not
mean-
that I'm aware
I mean,
of.
did we get them all?
Yes.
Through? Okay, then that's.
Yes, sir.
Something that I noticed yesterday when we were going through the jail, and I looked at the revenue for
Yes, Marshall.
yeah, for inmates. Y'all kept it the same. Didn't that contract go up?
So the.
Went up, but I don't know. You go ahead and answer. I got
So
an answer for that.
in May, I believe, it went up to.
It did.
It went up to $122. But the daily inmate
Our head
count for
count.
US
Is it
Marshals
count
has
down?
Our
dropped.
head count is.
Down to
is-
215.
As our count goes up,
We have to
we
send,
have to
right.
take in less of
So
it.
I can, Commissioner, I can show you like a monthly,
Hey, David, are you still on?
Yes, sir, I am.
What was that? What did we end up with that contract? Is 122 right? I thought it was.
No, 112, sir.
13. What is it?
112. 112.
112.
112.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Heather's
So it's
baby.
112. So if you, Francis, so look at your, look in your spreadsheet, to see if that calculation's the
But
same.
what David said yesterday, I understand what he's saying, as our local count goes up, we have to reduce
Yeah.
that federal count, and so we're losing.
It's important that we start making sure if there's people that could be handled in a different way than just incarcerated, we
Which
need,
would allow us to raise those, yeah,
we need to look at that.
yeah.
All right. Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Yep, no problem, sir.
I'm gonna pull up Heather's spreadsheet 1 second.
While you're doing that, I have a question for you, and based on what the commissioners said it a couple times. We know what, we pretty well know, based on current tax rate, what our revenue side is. We can get a firm grip on that. Because this is the uncertain side over here, obviously, expenditure side right now. What does it look like, doomsday, if we take the expenditure side back to zero like he's talking about?
You're talking about it too, Jim. Don't.
No,
don't throw me up under the
well, I'm
bus.
saying it right now, yeah, yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing. I've said it several times, and we may have to look at that. But with those increases that we're contractually obligated to do, isn't that right?
Sure.
Yeah, we can't do anything about that, but
We can't do anything about like that
So, and I have some stuff. I can-
evidence.com thing from the DA and things like that.
So I have some stuff I can show you, and if you want,
Tomorrow.
I can do it today. We could just give me a few minutes and I'll load in some of this stuff,
No.
but if we look at expenditures.
Judge,
We can wait
and-
until tomorrow.
Tomorrow's fine for
If
me.
you're looking, so if you're looking at how it's grown from year to year, there's some things, like you said, that are contractual. A lot of it is increase in step pay, it's increase in positions you added. And so then when you look at the increase on top of that, we'll look at the percentage. I'll show you what that looks like. And so then that's where it's over. But, on the first day we met, or one of the first days we met, I had some scenarios where I'd said, hey, here's your current tax rate. If you left the budget the same, like none of these contractual increases even, what that looks like, and your fund balance still just steadily decreases over the next few years.
Yeah, I saw.
And so I
remember
had, some, and we can go back and revisit those, and we can plug in any scenario you would like to look at. We're just trying to even that out. But like you said, even with that, you're still you're still on that trajectory that, you know,
Yeah, and I think that's
you're
why.
eating into your
I think that's
reserves.
why when we get, if we get to that point, then we've got to go back to, capital expenditures and personnel requests. If we've got to get, if we're gonna have to get to a certain number, and we've already.
Yeah, you'll have to do some
taken a
work in
knife.
revenue either way,
Yeah.
so.
And make
but
some
I'll show you
adjustment on the
that.
revenue side, so.
I think when I
it's
show it
balanced.
to you on a, like,
Yeah.
like just some big numbers that with the percentages, I think that will help, put that into perspective too.
I want to preface by, and I apologize, Commissioner, I certainly, he said it first, but I've been saying it I've been saying it in my mind all the time, and I agree with him. That's something we've got to look at.
Oh, definitely.
And just as long as we make sure that we're not setting up a rough year next year.
Setting up a rough.
We're not setting a rough budget year next year.
Right.
And there's got to be a little balance in it. You know, I agree with what we're trying to do here, but we just don't want to go too far.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I wouldn't think.
last year when we left here on the last day of 2025 for the 2026 budget, even with the 1.5 cent, we could see over 3-4 years that fund balance steadily decreasing.
Yep.
So we kind of, I think, went in knowing we got to make some major
Something's
changes,
gotta
whether
be
that be
done.
increasing revenue, decrease expenditures, both.
It could be both, yeah.
Before I was going to touch back, I've got this to pull up. So
Okay.
the daily rate for U.S. Marshals, it was $84.12, and then in May switched to the $112.
Right.
So
8412?
$84.12 to $112.
16 and 28.
It's a little less than $28.
It's more, I know that.
But, you know, then when we look at
Banker,
that,
come on, Mr. Banker.
So it's about a 25% increase, is that right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
and so Commissioner,
I
then
lose money.
as those man-days have decreased, and they may increase, like you make changes, things,
Yeah.
then, you know, we would see that change in the trend, but right now, it's kind of evened out because of the decrease in the man-days that are billed out, so.
So tomorrow you'll go down through the thing, even though Commissioner Smith wants to look in the package before, on Christmas Eve and ruin the surprise for Christmas. Don't tell him anything until he sees it
Henta is
tomorrow.
not coming this year, just FYI.
Here's my concern right now. We've gone past 5 o'clock. Are we locked in?
Now, those are things we need to be concerned about. All right, anything else to come before the court today? Now, tomorrow will be a new posted day, so we will adjourn today and we'll meet at 9 in the morning. Anything else? Stand adjourned.